live broadcast. Today, our special guest is Gunter from Gunter's Universe in his awesome little RV. So, yeah, here we go, guys.
Yo, yo.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Intro.
This is great. Cheers.
Yeah, man. It's actually really, really nice to see you in the flesh because, you know, before you the glowing blue dude sitting there in VR chat, you know.
Tron, man, he's Tron. He
Yeah.
is Tron.
Actually, Tron, man.
The movie.
Yeah.
Dude, he fights for the users.
Yeah.
I do. That's why I'm Tron, actually, because, you know, what I do in VR chat is meetups and stuff, and I'm all about the user experience, absolutely.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, I have a real face, and it's very beardy and long, hairy.
That is
No,
impressive.
I was gonna say, you look like you belong here in the
I'm
Ozarks.
not-
Say in Missouri, everybody's got a beard here, so I mean, you would fit along perfect.
Instead,
here.
I'm in Florida, which makes no sense with the beard. But
Well, the beard is coming back. I know
Beards
that's
are
for
in,
sure.
man. Beards are in, seriously.
yeah, but I had it before it's in, so I don't even want to.
Yeah.
I don't even do that. I've had my long hair and beard for like 10 years. Of
Yeah,
course I could.
Gunter had beards before it was cool, Wayne.
Yeah.
Before you thought it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Getting
yeah,
in
Wayne.
there. Didn't even have a beard
Gunter,
last week.
I do
This
gotta
week
say-
you've got a beard.
I
This
was
is just laziness, man. That's it.
Wayne, you always look good.
This is
okay?
the laziest
Wave,
thing you can
it's got the
do.
Conan wave.
It doesn't get lazier than this. That's
That's
how
true.
it happens.
That's true.
It's just kind of
Gunter, you're
grueling.
looking good and you know it, okay? But I actually, even if you don't see, you know, the pictures you've been putting on Facebook recently, you had that article that came out. It was at motherboard.com, and you had like
Oh,
front
that was
page
so
photo
cool.
right there with the RV in
All
the
day
background.
long.
Yeah, that was an awesome photo. Did you take that yourself, or have a friend take that for you, or did they have some guy come out for you? What was that?
Yeah. So the story is Matt Turndrip. I don't know if you guys know him. He's at Industry Changer on Twitter. So I met him at Oculus Connect 1 a couple years ago. He would fit right in with this crew here. He's killer. What his story is, Oculus Connect 1, he's a writer, and he's not a gamer and whatnot. What he was doing was shuttling people from the airport to Lowe's Hotel or Oculus Connect 1, and he got to meet a ton of people, and we just got caught up with him, and so he would take me back and forth to the beach house, which is where a bunch of developers and stuff were staying, and we just bonded and clicked. So yeah, he's been writing since then for Upload and other people, and he really wanted to get in with Vice and specifically the motherboard section. I think it was in January, contacted me, said he wants to write this article about, you know, me living in the RV doing VR, and I thought, dang, somebody wants to write an article about me? This is kind of weird. Okay, well, and that's flattering.
awesome.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
about
It's
time
really
for the guy
popular
that's
among-
always interviewing other people. I mean,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's why it was
It's,
weird.
well,
It's like,
What
I'm
really
getting interviewed.
fascinates me, though, by Gunter, you know, is the fact that he is actually following his dream, you know, like that, and just
Yeah.
doing it, whatever. I mean, and also I just
Right.
want to point out that this Nathy dude in the chat is calling us all a bunch of noobs. Well, let me come over there and smack you, Nathy. God.
Oh man, that's great, isn't it? I love it when Nathan does that. Gunter, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things. You probably you're so involved with the community that you probably don't realise how well respected you are. I mean, obviously everyone knows your name in the community. When people mention Gunter and Gunter's Universe, people know it, and you know it's no false praise to say you're fairly central to things, and maybe you just lose sight of that from time to time. But there you go. So yes, and first time I've seen
Absolutely.
you, and cracking beard.
Yeah, thanks.
Definitely, man.
That's actually how I feel. I'm super humbled. I don't quite get it. I'm just some guy that decided to start, you know, doing these sorts of things. And even Palmer, when I met him at OC2, he's just thanking me for what I do in the community as well. And I'm just gonna keep doing it, not because of any other reason than just because I like doing it. And it's a lot of fun, and it's cool to get in the beginning, guys. Right? This is the early days still. We're almost out of those good old days.
Ground
so is
zero,
it
man.
year number 2 or 3 for you right now. I think just actually being in the shows part of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cer-
yeah, definitely. I was
certainly early, but you've been in it for a while now.
Since DK1, represent.
Yeah, represent old school.
Yep.
You say
Already
that
old.
you're humbled to be there and all, but you've got like a really cool chat room that was like based off of one of the first virtual reality like anime shows that I remember seeing. So you've got like the tie with that. And one other thing that I've been actually wanting to ask you kind of personally, but so I've been reading this book, as everybody knows, Ready Player One. Just about, I'm like at the last page.
I was gonna say you're not finished with it
I'm
yet.
at, like the last page, literally.
God.
I fell asleep. I was like, no, I'm leaving it for tomorrow. Anyway, okay, so the people in the book that are searching for this egg are called Gunters, right?
That's true.
Okay, and your name, Gunter, is that just you know, happenstance? Is that just coincidence, or did you plan this, buddy?
It's just conspiracy.
Of course, I read Ready Player One, and it was awesome.
Wow. See, when I first heard the name Gunter, I had no idea about this book, and years later, I see these things. I'm like, are you kidding me?
But it's a combination of. I started playing Minecraft in VR in DK1, and that became the first social VR thing because there was a Mumble server that also tied in with the Minecraft server and had positional audio, and so it was like, man, I feel like you're over there, and yada yada. And I needed a handle. I didn't want to be, my real life name. I'm normally all of that on social media, and decided this time in VR I'm gonna have a handle, right? Because that just makes a lot of sense. And so what am I going to be? I was like, I want to also be a name, not just something that's kind of random, but it's like Gunter sounds like a name. It is somebody's name out there, but it's also Gunter related to Ready Player One. And then I decided to mix it up some more. I was like, well, Gunter sounds like Hunter, and I'm a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson, so I gave myself the name Gunter S. Thompson. It's a lot easier when you're filling out Google or Twitter profiles and they ask you for your first and last name. I can now put something.
Thompson. No, it's nice to get that. I didn't even realize the last name part. But so you've got the first name, the last name, and of course your chat room is based off of a virtual reality program or a TV show that was going on before. And then you've got, of course, your avatar, which is Tron, which we all know Tron. So I mean, you've got like all these great elements of VR and just history all put together. So I really do love that about your character. I mean, you've got a great depth to you. So and I'm learning that constantly. I didn't know that when I first met you. I just knew you're this awesome VR host guy, and now it's like, wow. You're on to something, buddy. So
a lot of fun. Thank you.
Hunter S. Thompson as well. You got to respect the old Hunter S. Thompson.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Just a little side note, man. Caleb, is your house on fire?
I was gonna say, you got something burning back there, man.
That's a little incense stick in the back because.
Oh yeah.
The dog likes it. The dog likes it. He told me incense on, and I was like, sure thing. In the background, I thought it'd be nice and misty, so in effect, I'm in the film.
Dude, it's like
it's all about the ambiance.
Really
I want the viewers to see something special when they come to the screen.
It's like special effects, man. We're like getting special effects on the show now. It's fantastic.
and we have to call out the fact that Game Hard has gone old school, which I do appreciate. He
has gone old school.
Nostalgic.
It's nightmares again tonight. Nightmares again.
I saw this fucker in the chat, this Andy. He's talking about the clowns being sinister since bullshit. They're not.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit sinister.
No.
Oh, dear me. Okay, right. So, who else we got in chat here? We have coming back again because he loves us so much. We've got Chocolate Fudge Games, who was on our chat one time. And we have DBM Strikeman. Yeah. Geiger Mass. Back again. Andy B.
By the way, did you all check out, because I really want to mention this, because I finally, for the first time ever, found a really good 360 virtual reality experience, which was just up Emod's alley. It was called Jean-Paul Gaultier. So go check that out.
Right,
yeah,
and actually,
really cool.
I remember GameHard got really excited right when the man burst into several men all around him, and he was like, I'm not going to give any more spoilers away, but he loved
it. Ready for that Pikachu, man.
He did. You remember that part, GameHard? You remember that part?
I want to say this.
You were like, how'd that happen? And
yeah. I'm looking look in his eye, man. Little twinkle, like, wow.
my boys, come.
Yeah, the boys.
This is a 360 video. Oh yeah, I've just seen you post it on Oculus. I'm just on Reddit. I'm just updating you now.
Thank you.
It's okay.
My pleasure.
Chris has a lot of things to do. He doesn't like to talk about his charity work, but he has a lot of things that he's
doing. I do a lot of charity.
These things until later.
Can we just talk about that for a minute? The fact I don't like to talk about it. I really don't like to talk about it.
He hates that shit.
Let's do an overview real quick of some things that we want to talk about. Let's just I know I want to talk a little bit about some social space VR stuff I've done in VR chat as well as Alt Space, because I got to be in Gunter's universe just a couple days ago, and I got to see the developer of Null of Hope in there. I certainly want to talk about that with Gunter and just some other stuff. I know. What does everybody else want to cover on today?
There's been a lot of news this week. I mean, we've had Vive pre-orders. We've had Palmer basically coming out and saying "screw you, Apple," which thank God. But
Everyone in VR hating me for about 24 hours. Had that happen?
Yeah, you had that happen. We had some possible leaks of the actual Oculus Rift box. Some pictures that came out of that.
Sexy.
Yeah.
I really like the look of the box, man. Like I've got a thing for that sort of stuff.
Is it better than DK1?
It's a hot box.
Well, no. Okay, but see that kind of brings up a sore spot because Palmer came out and he said, "Hey, everybody's going to get this case to carry it in." When you look at it, it's actually a very fancy retail box. It's cardboard.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like the hard case from the DK1, man.
Which I have right here. Look at this.
That was
beautiful,
solid,
beautifully crafted, solid thing. Look at this. It's still.
Look at you.
Still holding it together.
That
like
was
a
straight up
case.
Pelican case, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I'm not saying that the box that the DK is going to come, I mean, the CV1 is going to come in, is going to be crap. It's going to be a nice box, but it's still going to be a cardboard box.
Do you think the thoughts behind that though was because like the actual original DK was going to be going here, there, and everywhere because it development and showcases and all and whereas the CV1 is going to be sitting in your yard, like in your house, like and you probably won't be taking as many places and doing as many crazy things as you would be with a DK1. I don't know, just a thought.
It would also add weight to the shipping, and that's not what people outside the US.
Good shout. Yeah, good shout, Gunter.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a lot of talk about the shipping cost to like Australia is absolutely astronomical. I don't know what you guys are paying shipping over there.
Out there.
Yeah, I feel bad for it.
I don't like the look of that remote
because they're kind of charging after the fact, right? Because they've already shipped to the distribution centers, right? So you're kind of paying for that effort having happened in the past.
Yeah, it's reclaiming.
It's like reclaiming the cost, and you think, really that the shipping's about £5. I'm paying like $7.
Yeah.
Really, it's seriously. You took that much shipping costs. You want like a nude motorcyclist to deliver it.
Oh yeah.
Because the different countries have sometimes a large discrepancy in cost, and they say, of course, that's because of shipping, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense when considering you can send something to America for a certain price, and you can send it to Canada for damn near the similar price. But even like somebody commented earlier on a video I had, like the HTC Vive in Canada is like it's almost $1,200, and it's like, why is that? How does that make sense? It couldn't be all shipping. What is?
Well, I got to say, even over here, I at the bookstore that I work at, we have a commercial shipping account through UPS, and if Oculus follows suit with DK1 and DK2, they're going to be shipping at UPS ground. It does not cost $30 is what we're paying for shipping, and I know that's low compared to the rest of the world, but it does not cost $30 for me to send something from here to California, even bigger than the box that the Oculus is going to come in on a commercial account. So
yeah,
I gotta wonder, are they considering handling charges in your shipping costs? Every person that's touching your box.
What about
they better have like caressing charges, man.
Yeah.
So.
My box has little lipstick spots where they kissed it on the way out.
Yeah, exactly.
Palmer kissed it. That's nice.
Yeah, right.
I'm fucking talking of shipping. I'm absolutely dreading the shipping of the Virtuix Omni, man. I live in fear. I live in fear. Like I didn't realise. I thought it was gonna be flat packed, man. I see like it was like a articulated lorry with like a huge dumpster truck, like managing to sort of somehow haul the huge box off of it.
They have to take it off on a forklift, man.
Yeah. I know. The thing is, I said to my wife, about a year ago, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna get one of these, and then like played it down a little bit, ordered that shit. And then now I think she's forgotten, so it's like a new topic, man. I've got to bring that shit up again.
Right.
I'm dreading it.
Watching the stuff. I've been talking about it in every podcast here.
Do you remember? Exactly over a year ago. Here's the receipt.
But I think it's kind of interesting the fact that so many people are actually tripping over the fact that the prices of these new VR headsets. Because I mean, just look at back in the days. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, what would you have to pay for a brand new TV or a computer
flat
back
screen
then?
TV.
I mean,
thousands, man. When they first came out.
Yeah.
And I mean today. Yeah, exactly. And now, like $700, you get the latest within technology. I mean, come on, guys. calm the fuck down. It's not that
Yeah.
expensive.
We definitely touched that on the last podcast too. We're like, $15,000 for a brand new TV, and it was like, are you kidding me? For a computer, it was $2,500.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I always talk about. My first computer was, $2,500 with a bubble jet printer, and it did do nothing like
and
this
it had
shit.
128
Jesus.
KB.
I think I still got it out in the garage. I paid $1,000 for a 19-inch Sony Trinitron monitor. I mean, it was and people are flipping out over the cost of the most groundbreaking technology that the world has ever seen.
I guess it's great because everybody wants this, right? So that's great. People want this, give it to me, and then they're upset because they can't get it because of their financial situation. So next year, I imagine everybody else will be able to get in, I suppose, and that's the good news.
It will. It'll be a gradual ramp in for everybody. I think over the next 18 to 24 months, we'll start to see those prices come down. We'll start to see more companies coming out with their own headsets, and that'll drive prices down, and the competition will drive quality up.
The only thing I can think of why people are so shocked by it is because a lot of the people that are sort of not my generation, but like the generation just before, they're sort of like children of the recession, man. Do you know what I mean? Like they grew up and the recession was hard. Do you know what I mean? And,
they're living with their moms.
Everything plummeted. Do you know what I mean? House prices, everything dropped like rock bottom, man. Like so, maybe I don't know. I'm probably thinking a bit too deep on it, but maybe that it's a different time altogether. I don't know.
What you mean? We're sort of bouncing back from that sort of time where we didn't have very much, and now just over accumulating.
Definitely. Yeah. I think you put what I was thinking into words there, man. Good job.
Chris, are you a little warm, Chris? I don't want you to get too warm while you're sitting there.
My fake scarf.
I don't want you to.
It's bloody freezing up here, see?
There's a lot going on that shirt, man.
There is. It's quite unpleasant, isn't it? It's quite an unpleasant shirt.
Some people reckon that when you're on sort of like filming stuff, you should have kind of take that into account. But I love it.
What you mean? Dressed to impress. Look, seriously, I haven't got the time.
It's the Wayne's wave. I mean, I'm gonna call it the Wayne wave. It's beautiful.
I like it.
Couldn't do it better.
Style my hair
too
to
bad.
that level of
It's
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, can you see
Have
the
you
grey
done the
hair?
show naked yet?
I can. It's very distinct.
No, we have not.
Yeah, I was actually saying Wayne did the show.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
I don't have any pants on. I never have pants on when I do the show.
That's a good. I'm glad that we know that now. I mean, why have pants on? It just makes it harder for later, right?
TV pants means underwear.
Why would I wear
UK.
pants? Yeah. I'm in Florida, so it's not cold here, so I can get away with
Fair
it.
play. I think was it the last show or the last show before that? I don't know, man. But one of the people literally said, "Oh yeah, get on the camera." I was like just a black screen, but then
that was last week.
Yeah, I was actually sitting there in my pants. Not that I wear pants, but boxers, and then I ended up just getting on all right, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just don't stand up. I guess it'd be
A
fine.
little bit of nudity, just to pull the lady watchers in. Which,
We have zero fucking ladies here.
Ladies? Do we have ladies?
Sausage fest.
We never have ladies. We never
It's a sausage
have.
fest in the comments, mate. Trust me.
Gunter,
This
quick
is like
question.
a running joke.
Maybe you don't
Yeah,
even
Caleb.
know. How many shows have you done now in virtual reality? Like how many
I know.
Gunter's Universe episodes have you done, and how many previous ones did you do in RiftMax? Because you had that other show, you know.
This is
Say,
my
that's the first time I
second
saw you.
VR show. It's
That's
so
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want people to know. You were not just. This isn't your first one. 47. Wow.
Is Gunter's Universe, so I'm on
Right,
48.
right.
That'll be with next week. It's Pete Moss from Unity. I'm really excited to interview him
Ooh,
and to
nice.
bring him out to the VR chat community. Since everything's built in Unity, they're really going to be able to ask some great questions, and that's something I like to do is just connect people together.
Right.
And then Virtually Incorrect was my first show, and that was in the DK1 days. That was in RiftMax Theater when RiftMax was really rocking. There was all kinds of karaoke and fun stuff going on there, and that was 16 episodes. That was really awesome is about a month or two ago, the producer for Real Time with Bill Maher contacted me, and apparently he said that he saw Virtually Incorrect because Bill Maher's first show was called Politically Incorrect from the 90s, which is what I was kind of riffing on. Was that show and that which was also sort of a talk show with 4 or 5 people on, and Real Time with Bill Maher. It's a very long-term running show. It's on HBO, and I had some talks with that guy, and I really found that to be interesting. So again, small guy from a small town decides to get into VR. mainly to meet friends, and here it just keeps going, and now I'm talking to people that are in the entertainment business because they're super interested in this stuff. We're doing comedy now in VR, and I don't know. I could go on and on about how kind of cool it is, but really stoked and super humble. Thanks everybody who digs it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
And feel free to go on and on at any point when you want to talk about something. Man. We're interested to know.
Yeah,
'cause, I mean, as much as we're into it, one thing I think I constantly tell the guys, and I think we all are aware, is that social VR is kind of just the coming. It is the edge of where the virtual reality is.
It's the coming. It's where you come.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
You know that all too well. I mean, I know the pants are off, buddy.
Well, I had Ella Darling on one show, and that was
Yes, you did.
really difficult to.
That's fucking awesome.
That was probably one of the biggest shows. That and The Void, were the two biggest shows.
That was a great show. That was.
Everybody was pretty tame. It's really interesting how people come out to this social VR application, VR chat, come to the show and behave. They sit down, they watch, they listen, and then they ask questions, and they weren't a bunch of dogs just dogging over, panting over Ella Darling, but it was great conversation, great questions. She's super smart. Stoked that she came on the show,
Right.
Yeah, man.
So for everyone that doesn't know, you might want to tell the audience who this Ella Darling is and what's all about with this lady.
Game hard knows.
Oh, I know. Oh,
She's
Ella Darling.
Ella does sort of, I think, feels like the first VR porn. It's VRTube.xxx, especially like the live streaming thing. She hasn't done a lot recently. She did a few times. A lot of these things are experiments. I wonder what she's cooking up right now, but she's a porn star, and I got to hang out with her at Oculus Connect 2. She's super cool, and that's what she does. She's trying to pioneer VR pornography, which we need more of that, right?
Definitely, man. I know this is probably going to be like shit and that, but like I can't find it. Like it's all 0.6. I ain't rolling back.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. It's been a while.
I ain't rolling back just before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Porn's not quite there
after
yet.
this, and he'll
You'll have to ask Greg, because I took him in Janus. He'd never been in Janus VR.
Yeah.
And he walked through a wall. Like somebody didn't put a collider on the wall. He walked through a wall, and he's like, Don, what the hell? And I was like, what? He's like, I just went to VR Porn World.
Yeah, fair play.
The anus in Janus.
I have to say real quick, what was it? Zoran over in chat said you're his doppelganger. Is that right, Gunter? I think that's about right.
We've never seen Zoran.
I've seen him in some videos.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen him. Yeah, they look similar.
Yeah, they just got to give him a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, Jesus Vibe, exactly. Like, go put on the robe and bless everyone. Sure.
I mean, bro. I mean, if Gunter can pull it off and invite a woman of that caliber, I mean, why can't we also have that woman in our?
I think we may answer that.
I didn't really.
Gotta ask.
Just gotta ask.
That's the secret. That's the secret of everything I've done. Is I just find people and ask them, and almost nobody said no. That's the kind of culture and community we got in the VR community, and I'm really, it's gonna change because it's about to blow wide open. So really, it's just been that, which super humbled.
Well, one of the VRSpies boy band, either Caleb or Wayne, can maybe approach her, and maybe she'll warm more to you guys than she would to me.
She actually did approach me, man.
I was gonna say Wayne had a date.
Did already?
Yeah, I had a virtual date with her, man.
He's already got an N, literally.
On that topic also, I can see Saren1 in the chat says that Chris Miranda did a great interview with Ella. What?
In Enter VR.
Enter VR, yeah. .net. I love Chris. Zaren's bringing up the Duncan Trussell show. Do you guys know who Duncan Trussell is?
That was a phenomenal show, by the way.
So, Dust in the Wind is a user in VR chat, and he went to some sort of Hare Krishna retreat with Duncan Trussell was there, and Tim Leary's son, so Timothy Leary, the guy that kind of brought LSD to the masses, or at least the culture in the 60s. So his son was on the show. Duncan Trussell was on the show. Dust in the Wind was at that retreat with them, said, hey, you should come on my friend Gunter's show in VR, and they're like, yeah, let's do that. So Dust in the Wind goes to Duncan's house, sets up the gear, and made it happen. And just really enjoyed. I really want to branch out of just VR developers and personalities. I want to get other interesting people as well that are just kind of interested in VR. They don't do VR, and kind of mix all this together. And that's what I got to do with that show. And super, I'm a big fan of altered states of consciousness and wild thinking, out there stuff, down the rabbit hole kinds of things. And so it doesn't.
Presence is crazy.
Yeah, I think we briefly talked about that before the show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But I gotta say that was some of the conversations during that show were just deep and insightful, and I mean,
people want that too, right?
Just be in the audience, man, and just watch you guys doing that show.
Adam J I brought him and my co-host Bob, Cause and Effects, and Adam just was nailing it. Me and Adam talk about Terrence McKenna and all that stuff outside of the show, and that's another thing about VR chat and meeting people in social VR is they had so many similar interests as I did. So I've never met another person that's like, I'm a Terrence McKenna fan, or I'm a fan of this or that, and so I get to meet them in VR. And so I brought him on the show, and really he was just like so into it, and just dropped some awesome, like, mind-blowing ideas, and it was really awesome.
It really was.
Glad you brought up Adam J as well. I don't think we ever get to talk about him too much, but I see him in the community all the time, whether it be Converge, Altspace, VR Chat. I mean, he's just everywhere, and that dude is just I know he's always doing 3D modeling, but he's, do you know exactly what he does?
3D printing. That's really what his thing is. Yeah.
Ooh.
So he merges both of them, and him and Kelly, which he's new to VR Chat, they're working on like a VR flea market, or VR like where you can see 3D printed wares and you can check them out, and then if you want to buy them, you can then buy their 3D printed material through VR Chat.
That's
pretty
cool,
man.
That's awesome.
I need Fallout memorabilia. I need a Pit Boy. I want a T-45D fucking power armor.
In VR or outside of VR?
Both, man.
Both.
I want to look at it in VR.
I just want Fallout 4 in
VR.
VR. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Wayne wants the all dimensionality there.
Yeah,
I just popped out. I'm gonna go into it.
Yeah. Look at it in the real world. Put my Rift on. Walk over to it in fucking room scale, and then get in that shit and fucking start going extra. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. See, actually, the one thing I felt recently that was even close to that was I got to play Warlock. I know Don and I wanted to play forever, but then I ended up playing with UKRifter Chris, so we played some Warlock.
Yeah.
Don, I want to play with you still. I'm gonna kick your butt. Don't worry.
Oh, you are probably, yeah.
You are, yeah. You're gonna get your butt kicked, Don. I mean, I was pretty terrible, but he's pretty
I've been
good
practicing.
He's done warlocking before.
That's one of the first times I felt like, and as nerdy as it was the first time I felt like I could kind of like almost not really walk around, but kind of move around within my environment. I had full 360 spinning, and I had to move my hands, and because the main point is to move with your hands, not your head, right? So you don't really care if your head gets out of space even. So it was really fun.
It's brilliant. I mean, the fact that you do that and something happens, you do that, something happens.
The moment we figured out teleporting to me tickled me the most, because like I don't know.
What was that? It was like this or something.
It was like you had to do this, and then you had to like throw the ball, and then you had to like do some other shit, and then like you'd teleport to it. All I know is we got good at it because we were just in the moment.
That was great.
Well, and I tell you, ever since Orion came out, I mean, I played that before Orion, and the tracking was janky. It was just everything was off. The minute that they updated to Orion, that app became the killer Leap Motion app.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just got my Leap today.
Yes.
Oh,
Orion and all the buzz, and it's like, I got it for like $40, and that was really great. And so I got it, taped with my electrical tape because I didn't buy my mount.
Perfect. Hey, we're gonna have to play Warlock together, buddy. I mean, maybe after the show, but it's something fun to jump into and to play, and
Well, and it's multi. I mean, it's the first Leap thing that I've seen that's multiplayer. So.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Other than the fact that you can jump in alt space and you can use your Leap and you can not use it, but you can play multiplayer games.
Yes, you can use it to go like this when somebody's trying to throw their disc. Yeah.
Whoa, flick them off and get like.
No, this is important, guys. Guys.
Well, oh my God, what?
There's a woman in chat.
No.
What?
What?
Yes, an actual woman.
What's her name?
Val.
Wow.
It's not real.
She says we're all handsome.
Oh
It's
my
not
Look at this,
real.
can't be real.
Doesn't mean it's a
Can't be
woman,
real.
but
yeah, it might
be
be
Valerie, so sure.
Yeah.
It is the internet, Chris.
You guys
might be
never
Valerie.
seen a
Somebody
woman in
trolling
VR?
you.
All right,
Somebody
I'm trolling you
Come
guys.
on.
It's me.
No one pretends to be a woman.
It's
on the
Caleb.
internet.
Of course, it's Caleb.
Sorry, I got your hopes up. Yes,
I
it
think
works
Caleb's
so
handsome.
easy.
Does that mean I'm a girl? I mean, I
Hey.
have long hair,
No,
so
no.
maybe.
Hey.
Wait,
Gunter,
wasn't she in here one
I think
like
you
when
just
we
like
had
velvet tonight.
wasn't she in here when we had Hooper on and she kept saying that Hooper was
I don't know, mate. I don't know. But what I will say is, game can recognise game.
yeah, there you go.
That's what I will say.
Oh my God, Wayne, you put your wave away, okay? You put your wave away. All right.
Okay, somebody just went too far, man. Somebody just went too far in the chat. Somebody
go
said,
back.
make sure Game Hot keeps his masks on. What?
Snow Dog,
It's just saying what we're thinking.
Snow Dog, run.
Yeah.
Snow Dog, run.
It's actually a real woman.
Oh,
I've never
Prove
seen
it.
a real woman before.
Prove it.
I would expect.
Wow.
No.
Okay, back on point here. Back
Sorry,
on point.
I'm
So,
pulling this back. I'm pulling this
Come on,
back.
yep, no,
Thanks,
you're-
Chris.
All right, bring it back in.
Come on.
Bring it back in.
Before
Bring
we
it back.
forget,
Down in front.
First-
Down in
this
front.
last week, Gunter, two things happened that I think I know of. One for sure. You had the Null of Hope developer on your show. I want to talk
Yeah,
about
Wade
that.
Arcade.
Yeah, Wade Arcade was on your show. Let's go into that just a little bit.
Sure.
So, how'd you even get him on the show? As you said, you usually ask people. So, did you contact him, or did he contact you?
This time he contacted me, but
Yeah,
I met him at OC2.
Good developer. No, good developers do that same thing. If you want your stuff out there, you need to contact people.
Yeah,
okay?
contact me. You know, just ask me. I'll bring you on the show. You know, it's a lot of work for me to get people to come on the show. If people could come to me and say, "Hey, I'd like to be on the show," that would be great. Maybe I'd do more shows if I was getting more of that sort of thing. Wade Arcade, I met him by the pool. Did you guys ever see the video of Palmer at Oculus Connect 1? It was his birthday, and he jumped into the pool and with his boxers on. Anybody see that? There's a video of there. It's his birthday. He jumps in the pool. It's crazy. Well, anyways, that pool at Oculus Connect 2, it's where all the partying was going on. He comes up to me, and we talk about whatever we talk about, and he's like, I got this idea. I want you to stream my game. What do you think? And then instead of like health potions and water or whatever you use during the game, I'm gonna put whiskey and Guinness in there, and so come time to take a health potion, I take, it's a drinking game. I take a shot of whiskey or whatever it is. And so I actually played that. I only did like 4 or 5 streams and found that I just can't keep up with everything I want to do. So
Yeah, right. I remember you
I
talking
can do
about
this
that
game now,
in
then.
the Gunter
exactly,
universe.
those are here. Shot of Jameson. Let's do it. UKRifter.
Okay. And this is
Have a shot, but
I'm
I'll
on
raise
the.
the glass.
That's
Same
like a
as
huge
last week,
shot.
actually. This is a rather large shot of
Yeah.
Straight.
That's what I'm
double
saying.
black.
Can I get involved with that?
Oh yes, right. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Shot time.
Cheers.
I like some Jaeger too. Cheers.
See, I'm just
No,
doing
that's
the
a
old
classy. That's a classy implement you're using there.
apple ginger cider, my friend.
In all honesty, I can't really be fucked to wash up the shot glass. So.
I believe an app.
Don't do it, Wayne. No, Wayne's doing it.
Good.
Cough medicine, my friend.
Mm.
I'd like
Shocking,
I'd
yeah,
like
gonna listen.
peppermint.
Damn.
All right, so that's how I met Wade, and then yeah, it's like, come on the show. He's like, can I come on the show and stuff and talk about Null of Hope? And I'm like, hell yeah, man, I love Null of Hope. That was a really cool
Really, yeah.
throwback to the old
Fantastic
adventure games, So
Got to agree with you. It doesn't look like it's going to make its Kickstarter goal, which is unfortunate.
No.
But he said he's still going to work on the game. And as you just said, man, that game it is. I told him just recently in a Twitter message, like it felt like a studio-backed game. In the sense of it had the scale and the scope of something that was much deeper than just a normal demo. At the beginning.
Go watch the episode. He talks all about how it's going to expand. How the I guess the shit that, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. The shit that you see in the environment, but that's going to feed the trees that are going to bloom and blossom in like the level above the sewers, and it's going to feed in. And somehow there's a connection to all like the shit going on. So.
Right.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
saw some screenshots where you can see the environment changes. You're not just sitting in that room forever. Eventually you're outside and.
Yeah, man.
eventually
Chris,
you're
Chris,
going
can you
to
throw a
space,
bit
Yeah,
doing
of
different
screenshots,
things.
Chris?
Are you guys talking about Null of Hope
Probably.
now?
Yeah.
Null of Hope. Yeah.
It's got a demo available on the website. You can play it normal screen, or you can of course play it on the DK2.
Yeah. No, I played it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Love that demo, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of based off of your old text-based games, you know, go forward, turn left, go south, you know, and it's just basic commands and things that you can do. And
it took me back to the beginning of my gaming. I mean, that's how games were.
Yeah, what usually happens for me when I hear about a demo is I kind of look at it and it's like, you know, instantly if I put it on and if it's just kind of I don't know, if it's normal, I don't know how to explain that, but if it doesn't seem special, it's like, okay, I'm not really gonna do much with it. But that night I saw that, I was instantly like, this is something special. I want to play this. That's why I had to get on that, you know, right away.
I love how you recorded some of the conversation in Gunter's universe and put that in the first couple minutes of your video, and then you went into the Null of Hope, you know, walkthrough or the gameplay, and that's really cool, man. You're really rocking it there.
Thanks, man. I wanted you to see where I'm thinking, because that's usually how it happens, man. I usually see something somewhere, you know, whether it's one of the guys in chat telling me about a game, or whether it's, you know, a Twitter message, or just somebody in the virtual reality community mentioning it on, you know, Reddit, anywhere. I see something, and of course, Gunter's Universe is a great place to get in-depth conversation. I had the developer himself telling me, "Hey, you need to go play my game. It's amazing. There's nothing else like it." I mean, so what do you do after that? You got to go check it out. I mean,
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean that's what I did, and then that's how it works like that. And so I appreciate you just being able to be there for that. And yeah, I mean I had the Hydra. Now you got little lasers with the Hydra in VR chat, so that was kind of fun. Can you guys see my lasers when I'm shooting those? Does everybody see my little the lightning bolts? I guess.
No.
Okay.
Hey guys, they've got a Kickstarter going. Did you mention this?
Yeah. He just said it's probably not going to make the Kickstarter.
I mean,
that's a shame.
In all reality, like Kickstarters are hard right now. Everybody's buying their CV1, their Vives. I mean. People don't have enough money for that. And what we found when I talked to a lot of developers in the community about Kickstarters, and this is probably more of a year ago, like RiftMax tried to do a Kickstarter, and that basically wasn't going to work out. There's only about 500 people that buy all of the Kickstarter games. And so what is it going to take to get to, you know, $50,000? It's going to mean not more than $16 for your game. It's going to mean a lot more for that. You're just not going to get outside of 500 people at this current time with the development kind of part of the virtual reality scene. So maybe in a year there'll be, you know, thousands.
Right. After these headsets have already been dispersed.
Yeah, but not.
Do you think it's easier to get like greenlit on Steam than it is to get like a Kickstarter?
Probably is, isn't it?
Might be. I don't really know, but yeah, you should definitely. I think he went that route. He's you can go do that too. I don't have any links or anything, but yeah, he's on Steam. He'd like to have the votes on there. So Null of Hope on Steam.
Let's go and do it. Let's go and do it, guys.
Yeah, definitely. And we don't forget we've got our good friend, our dev who developed Push for Emor on, and he's just launched his Greenlight campaign.
Gary, man, he's on point.
Man. I think Gary, you probably can't share the link in the chat there, but I'll find it, and I would encourage everyone just to give him a vote because
everybody go vote for Push for Emor. Yeah, absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Push for how do you spell it? Push
for EMOR.
Yes.
Well, and here's my question: is it Emor or Emer?
Yeah.
I say it wrong all the time, but I know it's
Emor. I'm gonna say it's Emor.
Emor. Yes.
Emor. That's mine. I'm taking that one. You guys can't say that.
I don't think it's Emor. I think I said it was Emor, but it's actually Emor.
Is it Emor?
Yeah.
Emor. And there's Emorian.
That's really helpful.
Because I was sitting there trying to rehearse my lines, and I was like, do I say Emor or Emer?
I think I'm gonna do all three. Do all three. You could do it all four. Actually, do all four.
Yeah, just change it up every other word. Yeah.
I've actually been doing a little bit of like testing some shit out, man. Like, there's a long way to go, but I did a little bit of just a test, like a test feature, just to see how it would be to try and do some voice acting, man. And I told him it's like the first time you go to like karaoke and that. You know, like the nerves and that. You get the nerves and that. Yeah.
Listen to your own voice playing.
Yeah. So like, you need beers, get on the beer, son, and then it's like, whoa, and you can just.
No, I kept reading them and playing the lines back, and I'm like, God damn, I sound like a whiny bitch.
If the character's a whiny bitch, that's fine. We have got some exciting news on the old voice acting front as well. Not only are we doing Push for Emor, which is great, and we're looking forward to that. Some really cool Monty Python style humour in there. We've also got Mushroom Ball VR. The dev got back to me. He's given me a whole bunch of characters, and he wants the VRSpies to be the voices.
Woohoo!
Ow!
Wow, that's awesome.
So cool.
It's not a huge amount of you know, it's only like a couple of lines each, but it would be quite fun that we're all in the same title,
man.
right? That would be quite
As
fun.
long as like there's some sort of like you know the credits that no one ever watches. Like at the very, very bottom of the barrel, there's like RG83 or some
fine.
shit. Like,
We don't want to be above the dev, do we? Let's be honest.
no, of course not, man. But, like,
For our
bottom of the
2
barrel,
seconds of work.
yeah, no one even watches them credits, man. Like the credits come on, you're gone. So like,
the mushroom ball thing though is awesome though, because most of us have kids, and that's something I would let my kids play.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like for them to go, hey, that's my dad's voice. That that'd be kind of neat.
That would be awesome.
So,
But I'd be like with my boy, and I'd be saying, you sit down, you watch the credits. To the end.
you watch the credits. You stay to the end.
Beat them all. Beat them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good fun, and you know, we kind of have that open offer out to devs that will do our own voices in there, because we've all got different voices and we're quite unique.
Also, guys, I can see that our favorite girl in the whole wide world just asked us a little question, and it goes something like this. If you guys could create a game, what kind of game would it be? That's an interesting question.
Ooh, that is an interesting question.
I think some kind of quest through a maze.
Yeah, I was saying I'd have you.
Yeah, with where you use your hands.
Make it
A maze
UFO
quest.
would like
Maze quest sounds good.
drop you off into a vicinity that you then had to use your brain.
I know what I would make, though, if I was a developer. I would totally make the Playboy Mansion into a VR experience. So, you know, I could just walk up in that joint and just fiddle around.
I'll tell you
What would be a couple achievements there? What kind of achievements would
To unlock 10
unlock.
bras in a sort of amount of time, you know, that would be a one achievement, you know, if you can just
yes, one-handed, sure.
touch controls, you know.
Game hard.
One-handed navigation.
Wouldn't that be
Game
awesome?
hard. Just go read my article from last week and create it yourself in VR
Yeah,
chat.
you could make it yourself, man.
Yes.
You
I
could
can make
get
it
all
myself.
real experience.
Yeah, it's
Make
easy.
it in Unity and put it in VR chat. Just upload it in, buddy.
I want hand-controlled Skyrim and GTA. Like, just
yes.
fucking let
We
me
didn't
Yes.
have our haptic gloves.
I mean, with the swords and the shields and
Yes.
yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
with
Awesome, this shit.
Not-
What are you guys
I
talking
don't think
about?
real haptic feedback is quite there yet, but like, you know, the sense of like haptics. I was watching something earlier, like, and they've got it down now where you actually do feel slight impacts from like stuff, like, and even if it's not 100%, it's just another cue to bring you to presence, man. And like, if you can,
No, that would be fantastic.
Sounds work well. Hey, I
Anything with your hands,
sounds
man.
using your hands and hearing sounds. I mean, ooh. I mean, just anything would make it just feel more real. At the same time.
no, I'm not on about
sounds
that shit.
Sounds are great for the haptic feedback until we get the power gloves. Don't worry, man. The power gloves are coming. All right.
Have you heard of tactical haptics?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to try that at what was an SVVR meetup right before Oculus Connect 1. I recommend everybody go out to SVVR. Actually, would be the best place. It's the end of April.
I'll just get on a jet and fly down there.
You know, I don't have the money either, but it's a priority for me, so I'm gonna make it out there, or maybe next year. But anyways, tactical haptics.
I was going to say, if any developers or anybody watching wants to sponsor to send us there.
Oh,
hey,
come on.
Greg's there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question to Greg? Greg, how
We
was
just evolved.
how was your evening?
We just evolved.
We just evolved.
Devolution. Yo.
Hey,
man,
it's Robot.
Lightweight.
Hey, listen to your Robot Master. All right, Robot Greg is on the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I
How
can't
was
see
Robot?
you, Greg. If there was anybody who wanted to see his beautiful face, it was yours. What's going on here?
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Not much, man, not much. I just got home.
Glad that you
What
made
have
it,
you guys been
buddy.
chatting about? What you about?
We were talking all about you the whole
Talking
time.
about you the whole time, and
Well,
Yeah.
let's start talking about tactical feedback or haptics. Tactical haptics.
Tactical haptics. Gunter was telling us about his experiences with tactical tactical.
Tactical haptics. What?
See,
We
I've
moved
already
on to
finished my
tactical
first
haptics
very
from-
large drink. So,
From our
So
dreams
it's
as
like,
well.
it actually was like a Vive controller, is what it would remind me of, because it had a big mushroom top or something like that. But anyways, it had I couldn't tell you the technology exactly, but you would hold this thing, and let's say I wanted to swing a mace around, right? It'd have these I don't know motors in it, and it would move up and down, and as it would just go with your swinging. Anyways, it felt like I'm swinging a mace around like this, and it really felt like, or there was just one that's like, you know, here, pull this apart, and I'm like this, and I'm pulling as hard as I can, but I'm not, you know, I actually
Haptics
can't.
are real,
I
then.
could just do it, but it's felt so real because it's pushing on your hands in ways that's like you just feel like, holy shit, and I don't get it. And there's fishing, and it was just these little demos, but you know, I think it's only going to work in like very specifically made demos, and it's not going to, I think, work with full-on games because you have. Well, yeah, now anything can happen, right? But that technology right now, which was 2 years ago, who knows what they're developing now? I just don't know. They had a lot of control over the environment, over what you were playing. So who knows where that will go? But it is possible. There is technology to make you feel like, holy shit, this is real, man.
I believe it, dude. That's why I don't even, when people ask for it, they're like, oh, you need to have that. It's like, okay, well, just guess what? There's things that are happening that you don't know about and that I don't know about. But you better believe that people
years in front, man.
You better believe it. And one quick thing, Val was asking if she could have another question.
Nope.
We'll go answer a previous question. That way you can definitely say no. Was the Silent Hill series being discontinued and why? I don't think any of us played Silent Hill, and we don't know why. But when I checked the wiki, it's due to conflicts with Kojami was not going to be a part of their production anymore, and I believe that's just legit. So
I haven't played Silent Hill since like PlayStation 1.
But it was so scary when you'd play it. It was a great game.
It was actually. No, it was really, really creepy, man. But I don't know. I know.
I guess we could talk about horror in VR. You know, I don't know if you guys are interested in that.
Oh,
yeah,
very interesting.
There's one thing that literally got ruined. Like I remember Alone in the Dark on the PlayStation 1, like back in the day, and that shit me up. First 5 minutes, I was like, no, mate, I noped out that shit when I was about fucking 16. But recently, there's been like some recent sort of evolution on an Unreal 4. I saw Unreal 4 and I was like, you know what, I'm interested. It's got me interested. And like I saw it, I investigated a little bit more. There was rumors, first person rumors, but actually no, mate. Third person, bag of shit. There you go.
I think the first third person game that got me was Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space is creepy as fuck. Man.
Play it late at night with the 5.1 surround sound. Playing it on like a 100-inch projector screen, high def. It was just, oh my god, that shit was just mental. But
I was out.
I actually there was a horror demo that came out this week, The Visitor, I think. And that one was kind of creepy because it's like the premise is you wake up in the middle of the night and you're laying in bed, which was kind of a strange perspective. But you don't move, but shit just starts happening around you, and it was actually pretty damn well done. Ends with a cheap jump scare.
What's that one that Greg has been playing a lot recently? It's kind of
Town of Light.
the mental thing.
No, Town of Light.
It's the same thing. Mental.
Okay.
She's mental.
Okay.
She's not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more.
Same thing. Completely different word.
Yeah, it's more like a psychological horror, but I really don't.
I was mixed bag for me, but carry on, and I'll tell you afterwards what I think. But mixed bag for me. Carry on.
I mean, first off the bat, I played it myself, and I mean, it's based off a true story, you know, and it's a strong and very powerful story. But I didn't get. I really didn't get any chills or stuff like that.
It's more disturbing than scary.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it kind of fails on that particular point.
Yeah, but that's not really what it's built for. It's not built for jump scares or any shit like that, man. It's a horrible story. You know what I mean? You're discovering this little girl's horrible story.
Exactly. Yeah. But
it's
psychological. It's not terror. Yeah. It's psychological terror.
Is it based on a true story?
Yes, it's based on true events and true places and.
Yeah.
If it's got good music and it's psychological, those games can be way more terrifying than the ones that try to scare me with visuals because I'm a head person. I'm all in here. If you can get me in here, you're good. You're good to go.
Right, Fire in the Sky, the movie, was the scariest fucking movie for me as a child.
Really?
Yeah.
Fire in the Sky. That's also based on a true story, is it not? Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
That guy that got adopted by alien.
It was all over, and I was young, and like, oh my god, could you imagine some alien proctologist coming down and putting shit in your butt?
Do you know what? Gunter, you know what did for me on the movie was Communion. Do you remember that one? That was pretty.
Yes.
I remember it was a book, but did they make a movie?
Yeah,
they did.
Christopher Walken is in it. That's how
Yes.
freaky that is.
No,
It's a
that
really,
was
really
straight
freaky
up.
Put that on my list.
Yeah, that's
Also,
I
guys,
had the book.
this is something I always wanted to ask you guys. I know it's silly, but I mean, for the guys that are up in America, in our little group, have any of you guys, ever been, near that Area 51 base? Anybody of you?
I've been to the I've been to Vegas a few times, and you can drive out to the actual "Do not pass this."
Yeah, exactly.
sign.
Yeah,
I've
You've
been
there,
there.
huh? Wow.
Yeah, twice actually.
You go past it.
I was within 100 miles of it, and then like we were on our way there. And the weird thing is, like 16 minutes later, we were like going the other direction. I don't remember what happened, but I just knew I never was going to go there again for some reason. And,
He blacked out,
and then he had a sore butt. Yeah.
No problem, yeah. Damn.
Back to that game, man. Like that game that he's on about, Greg. I've got the shit. I've got it installed. I played it. What was it called, Greg?
The Town of Light.
Town of Light.
Town of Light. Yeah. I don't know if this is ATI specific, but I had terrible texture pop in, man.
No, it's actually not. The reason for that is basically, although the game's released, the VR is still in a test phase. So basically, what the devs have done is they've dialed the settings back and they've locked it. So the draw distance is dialed back.
Oh, okay. All right.
Some of the texture quality is dialed back. So basically,
makes sense now.
I think from what they said to me, it was within the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks they were looking to do the patch on it to update it and bring it up to its full quality. But I think what they were working on was optimization. So I think the way they were looking at it is dial it back, release it, so it runs decent,
and then build it up.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
My huge issue with it was all the billboarding. I mean, every tree, every other blade of grass would like move, and it was just.
For me, it's the judder. I've just got mad judder on my system at the moment. I don't want to.
Well, Chris, once you get a 980 Ti, then.
Okay, hey Ti, you get your tall. I can't come up with it. One thing is, I got layers
between the lines.
I got you schoolgirl, you little schoolgirl.
Chris, was that 3 in the pink and 1 in the stink? That's not.
That's
not right, mate.
Hey,
Wayne, quit showing off. Quit showing off, Wayne.
Man, I was talking about that on a podcast yesterday. So weird. Yeah, shocker.
The shocker. It's got a name.
Wait. Sorry. What podcast was this?
This was the VR Scout podcast.
You were on the VR Scout podcast. Wait, yesterday? That was yesterday?
Yeah.
I thought that was last week.
Well, I did that last week too. Now I was on this week too with Reverend.
Yeah.
With Reverend Kyle and Bellardo this week, and Malia's really great, and Blab is a great service, but Malia Probst, our Scout podcast, she does her own, The Real Virtual Show.
Right, I've heard
of
it
a lot
before,
of fun. She's really targeting the masses, the people that aren't fanboys, that aren't in our scene already. I find that really cool.
Well, they can do that because, girls that, aren't, looking like us, they can be like, hi, VR, and everybody's like, what is that, and so it works for them. No,
I wish I had some tips, man.
No, they're doing a great job because I can see that on, they've got a lot of followers, they've got, a lot of people looking at their content. I've noticed them before.
Well, she's in Los Angeles, she gets to meet everybody, she's in that prime location. We're everywhere else. So.
Good connections to have, my friend, and like you said, I was actually going to mention that you were on there last week because I knew about you being on there last week. I actually heard a little bit of that myself, which is why I was kind of excited because I actually, my first week listening to their chat, I got to hear you. I'm like, that's my buddy. So it was just really cool to get to hear you guys on there at the same time. And then now, of course, it's just where you're on there again. I've actually reached out to them and asked them if they'd like to come onto our chat, and they said, hey, which one? You want her or the other guy? And I said, both of them. Bring them both on if we can. I would love to have everyone.
Bring them all.
Yeah, if they know about VR and they're talking to people in the community, I mean, the better. And the one thing that I'm going to say it again, I think we've already covered it many times, is the community's great because we can all come together and kind of feel somewhat equal in the sense that we all want to promote each other and we want to promote the thing, what it is, and we want to have fun with each other. We don't want to. We want to have fun
no one's toxic. There's no one that's toxic in VR yet. It'll happen, but it's pure. And
if they are toxic, we'll kill them.
Yeah. Like right now, VR community
Kill
is
them.
pretty pure. Caleb kills it, man.
It's pure. You keep it pure.
I kill you.
It is pretty pure, man.
Here's some water, okay? It's a
gonna
clean
change.
glass of water. It's a clean glass of water. You want a drink? Absolutely. I'm going to put just a little bit of shit in it. You want a drink? No, you can't have any. None.
Yeah. I've got a little question, man. This is I don't know. Like, whoever, you've all got channels, man. So I'm gonna ask fucking everyone. Right at the moment, I've heard through a lot of the chat feeds earlier that I was looking at in the bath, along with a few other things, that people are appreciating like face cams and shit, man, and not 3D content anymore. Like, or what's going on, man?
Yeah,
People,
I was reading that too.
People down for face cams these days, or what? You know,
I don't think the mainstream was saying that, were they?
I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know.
I think he's talking that was a conversation that was happening in our Skype channel today, and I don't know. It's a lot of my viewers actually appreciate the fact that I
side by side, man.
Real quick. What's the point of this? What's the point of this? Is to see your side-by-side content, and a lot of people have these things.
I get a lot of requests to not do my channel the way I do my channel. So they want me to not have my face in it, and they want me to just have the side-by-side so they can watch it in their car.
I've had that exact same thing. I've had that exact same thing said to me. Go ahead.
Get your ugly ass out of
when I first started my channel, I used to be on cam, and I got a lot of requests that take yourself out, because when we watch this back in other VR viewers, you're clipping into it, and we want to see the experience.
Yeah,
but I think also part of the discussion was also if you put a face cam up in your video, the video instantly becomes a little bit more personal. I think that was something we tried to address as well.
Because it's getting to know us as people,
exactly.
Instead of just this is what we're doing.
Isn't this bit right now?
That's what I'm saying. That's what this is for.
I mean, you don't want.
We also get complaints that they'd like to see us like driving around in project cars rather than doing this format.
Well, see, for me, it completely depends. I don't know. When I watch like a full screen video, I'm used to VR. I know VR, so because I see a full screen VR video, I don't have a problem understanding this person's in virtual reality seeing this world. I like to see it in full screen, 60 frames per second. But for the average person, if they're just looking at a screen, it looks like a normal game. To see somebody with a VR headset on also shows you that person is actually looking around.
True that.
And some games, and to keep in mind too, some games people will hold a controller and they'll be moving in 3D space, but they're only moving their controller and their head stays still. That game kind of sucks. I want to see the person playing the game where they're constantly
ducking.
moving. And I want to see the movement and stuff. And
I've gotten a couple of comments that, hey, you don't move your head enough.
In some of my videos, exactly. I notice some games I play, I'm doing that. And other games I'm playing, I'm constantly moving around. And I realize part of that's the immersion of the game I'm playing, and part of it's how I'm maybe doing it.
Man.
You want to play the cow. I just noticed Val just typed something while Caleb was being really animated. How's that even possible? How are you doing this, Caleb?
And also something which Push for Immer is just saying, it's also good to see how people react, and we all know how popular React videos are, so.
I hate them fuckers, man.
So the idea is versus face cam, seeing the reaction, seeing, a bit more of how VR is to the person actually experiencing, versus being in Rift mode and allowing people to kind of re-experience it if they're in the Rift. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, because
TV.
A lot of them that want to watch it back in the Gear VR, they want to watch it back in the Google Cardboard, and for me, it's always been who wants to see my ugly fat ass old face on camera? It's like you just watch.
It's gonna make mostly people sick, right? Like I used to do it with Cymatic Bruce, and very much enjoyed that. But yeah, I guess it is like, what do you do? What is the best?
Yeah, if we want to miss Don's cry for help there, I'll just say, Don, I want to see your ugly ass.
I do.
One of the things as well with the whole viewing videos back. I mean, some people like just the full screen. You know what I mean?
Single screen.
Yeah, personally, I mean, all my videos, unless I'm forced by Steam VR or Unity, all my videos are side by side. But the reason some people don't like it as well is when they put on a Google Cardboard and watch your video back, they've got forced head movement, and it can make a lot of people sick. You know what I mean? Watching a video in VR with forced head movement all the way through the video.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We got some rumours going on in the old chat here. So, anyone hear the rumour that PlayStation VR Morpheus is going to be $800?
No, that's been out for a while, but I highly doubt it.
Rumors.
I heard they're gonna cut that shit. Like, I heard they're gonna cut it. Like, they watched to see what HTC were doing. They watched to see what Oculus is doing, and that they're gonna like try and underprice that shit. Even like maybe selling a slight loss to start off with, as the technology is. It happened with like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. When PS3 came out, man, that shit was 450 quid in like UK. That's expensive, man. And then it drops down. You know, like I normally wait for the drops, pick it up half of that, literally half the price.
It can't be more than the console itself. I mean, you know, it's got to be under or right at that price. You know, it's a peripheral. You know, I mean, so.
I agree. You do get a little box on the side, and the headset itself. It's supposed to be 1080p, right? Is that still the crack? Like
it's 1080p with the extrapolated refresh rate. So
is that per eye, or is that like divided?
I think it's 1080p per eye, isn't it? But it's
got the developers I know say it's right on there as far as clarity and quality as the Rift and the Vive.
It's also using a true RGB screen, so the screen is true RGB LCD. It does the extrapolated refresh rate, so it's running at 60, but it basically extrapolates to 120.
Is that async or what? Is that async into 120 or?
It's like wizardry and magic.
It's basically being upscaled by the poo box.
Wait! It just hit me. Okay, so earlier you said you were on the podcast yesterday with VR Scout, and you guys were talking about the shocker. What the hell? Wait.
What? Why would you bring this up right now?
How are we coming back to this, dude?
Wait, you guys talking about some weird shit.
I'll tell you later. It had to do with the Catholic school and
saying, what the hell? I can't believe we forgot that. I can't believe we just let that slide. Okay, back.
But VR Gaming Evolved is totally right. He's dropping the knowledge.
Also, just for the record, the PSVR is 960 by 1080.
960.
That's per eye. It's by 1080 overall, but it's 960 by 1080 per eye.
I think it could win, man. I think it's gonna because most people
win on numbers.
Yeah. Like numerically, like consoles, they're everywhere, man. Like high-end PC users that are gonna be having PCs that are VR ready is like enthusiast level shit, you know?
Yeah, like, I mean, I agree with you, when it could win, like Chris says, on numbers, but it won't win in overall quality of experience.
No. Yeah.
What I mean, you're always going to have the PC there.
Otherwise, mate, I'd be in PSVR. You know what I mean? I'm PC. I'm Oculus Rifting, man, because I want that shit. I want
lots of great content on the PS4 though. I mean, I don't dig PS4. It's not my jam, but lots of cool content. Really interested in what they're gonna do. They're gonna obviously appeal to masses. A lot of people are gonna get into VR that way. You're not gonna get your tilt brush. Well, maybe you get your tilt brush. You got VR Dreams, but you're not gonna get like as much that's going to be developed on the PC, right? You'll get so much more variety and so many different things coming out. You don't have to just prescribe to Oculus Home or Steam VR. You can still play anything that's published that people put out.
One of the things PlayStation have got on their side as well is the developers. They have a lot of big developers for PlayStation, you know? So, I mean, they've got that on their side.
They could tilt. Yeah, I think they can win it.
Huge developers. I think that. Well, you say win it, and I agree that they can win it with numbers. But I'm a console gamer. I grew up on the PlayStation, then I moved to Xbox, then I had a PlayStation and an Xbox, and people are always going one or the other, and I loved them both, which is why I hate to hear the whole HTC Vive or Oculus game. They're both good companies. They're both good devices. But what you just said right there, it's just which one is it going to be that.
I don't mean that. I don't mean against each other as an internal battle. Like, please don't take that out of context. What I mean is like getting the general public involved in VR. Like, I don't mean like, they're gonna beat fucking Oculus. They're gonna beat Vive on the PC format. I'm not saying that.
No.
Right.
I'm saying
it's gonna be people interested in VR over.
It's going to be a driver of mass adoption.
Yeah.
You have so many out there.
This is what I don't want. I just don't want, like, for example, PlayStation VR to be separate. You know, I like the fact of knowing that, you know, when I jump into VR chat or Altspace, I could potentially be meeting up with HTC Vive users or Oculus users. You know, and people always have this competition. Or Gear VR, absolutely. And the fact that I can join in with these people is what I like. I don't care about the system we have. We're friends. We're hanging out. We're playing the same games. I don't want to have to say PlayStation's over here in their own separate universe. You know what I mean? Like, are they in a universe that we can't, you know, get into? Are they going to have VR chat? Are they going to have all space?
No.
You know, exactly.
No, probably not.
And that's what kind of makes me. That's what makes me really. The only negative thing about PlayStation VR for me is that disconnection. They're a separate universe. Look at us. We're all cool. We've got great numbers, and we have nothing to do with the PC community. Well,
maybe
we're supposed to be in the same shit.
Maybe them experiencing like the PlayStation VR will actually just think, oh, there's PC version of this as well. That's actually
dude, it's the gateway.
It might get them
gateway
involved
drug.
in it. Yeah.
Not even for VR, but like getting people out of consoles and into PCs, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's way more expensive and stuff, but like that might be compelling for people.
It happened to me.
One of the things when you talk about PC being more expensive, initial costs of buying this PC, more expensive. But one of the things that you'll find with like Steam and things like G2A, where you can buy games, the prices on PC gaming is far cheaper than console gaming. You know? So I mean, if you're a big gamer and you spend a lot of money on games, then I mean you can pretty much easily claw back your cash in games.
Yeah, no. As a tech buyer, I buy games for a gaming store on campus, and they never get cheaper.
But I feel like the people on PlayStation don't know that though.
Yeah, maybe. But if every single person knew that, like, or didn't go and buy like the A1 AAA games day one, if you just waited for every single Steam sale and then blew fucking load of money like on Steam sales, you would spend. I mean, I picked up like some crazy triple BioShock pack for $5. It had like everything to do with BioShock for $5, and like Skyrim was like £3 or something. I mean, ridiculous, man. Like ridiculous. Like, thing is, I'm a mug for day one though. You know, like if there's something like the next Fallout comes out, I'll buy that stuff. Like, and I'm bad for that. I should just wait for the Steam sales. I don't know.
Steam's amazing, of course.
Steam is ledge. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Do you want to have a little look at your list, man? Because I've gone deep off topic, you know? I'm like balls deep.
God. we've gone so... We never stay on
What about a drift?
Just
excited for a drift?
A drift. Oh, yes.
A drift.
28th of March. Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Bring it.
Are you going to give us a copy?
Launch?
Yeah. Boom.
Whoa. Okay.
It's a launch title, so within a month we're going to see it. It's amazing, man.
That'd be good.
Space.
We're only going to
somebody describe it?
We're only going to see VR through the Oculus store at first, though.
You're right.
Are we?
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's going to launch on Oculus in VR. It's going to be on Steam, but if you buy it in Steam, from what I understand, you're not going to actually get the VR version
you'll
of
get
it.
a key for the Oculus store as well.
You'll
if
get
you
a
have
key,
Oculus.
right?
Okay, so you get dual key, a bit like Elite back in the day.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah,
like
right.
Elite is, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I can handle that. I can handle that.
Not long ago.
From what the devs say, it's coming to Vive as well, just further down the line.
Yeah, but the initial release will be for the Oculus. Is this not correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But I mean, there was a post on Reddit a few days ago now from the devs trying to clear up the confusion on buying it.
Yeah. Also, I see one in the chat. He watched the 10-minute gameplay video that was popped up today, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it did.
I fucking love Greg, man. He's a fucking tech guru.
He is a tech guru, and we need Greg. We need Greg in the team.
Yeah.
He just
He's
knows
fucking
what he's
on
talking
point.
about. He is always on point. So we got a question in here, a comment in here from Matthew Lake. What do you guys make of the HTC going all out on marketing their products, which we'd noticed right on their Steam, It seems they're sending Vive into just about every big YouTuber in tech and gaming as well. So everyone's getting their hands on it.
I'm a bit gutted about that.
But we're not seeing the same from Oculus. You think about what they could do with Facebook and the marketing there, but they're clearly not doing that.
Yeah, their employees are playing gears and everything.
You know, I'm so glad you brought this up because, you know, the way I look at it, you know, GameHard is a little wacko, but to me, it's like HTC Vive is like a dog, you know. It's like a dog. It's like all over the place. But the Oculus, you know, the Oculus guys, it's like a cat, you know. Cats are like sexy.
Yeah,
you know?
we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah, exactly. We're just
a cat file.
Hey, I do have to add actually.
Man.
It's kind of relaxed and okay, we're gonna win.
Well, you know, I mean, and obviously, if they wanted to sell 1 million of them, they'd probably just send it to the 7 of us. You know, I mean.
Right. Yeah. I mean, come on. If they wanted to sell everything they had, they just.
What do you reckon?
It's cool that Valve is so open. That's what they are. They don't have the NDAs, so you can see.
Yeah,
this is true. This is true.
Very
transparency.
Here's one thing I can say is that
Facebook, so they're just a bit more closed right now.
Facebook's given out 8,000 Gear VRs to all their employees for free because they want their employees just to play with them and test them and enjoy them. And not only that, but like I do know because like on my Instagram I only follow like event production and developers pretty much and VR people, right? And most I've actually seen. On Instagram, I've seen several VR people, VR developers, you know, especially my friends over in Russia, VRAR Labs, or now Cerivim. They've actually got their hands on a couple CV1s, you know. So I mean, I know Oculus for a fact has been sending out CV1s to developers, people who are actually working on content.
On a DL.
And yeah, so people that are making stuff and showing them and actually meeting with them and coming to these conferences, like you said, SVVR and these different ones. Those people are getting, you know, CV1s. I think it's just a much more personal.
They're not CV1s, but they're close. They're pretty much what they're shipping. CV1s are only coming out this month so far. There's a few people that just got that. It's
the box,
something else.
Right. Okay. You might be right. The box looks like whatever he showed us when he was doing the CV1's presentations. That's what it looks like. But yeah, if it's close to it, that's awesome. I mean, so I just know that they are trying to do that. But you're right. They are not giving them to the
they're under NDA and they can't talk about all about the specs of that CV1-ish kind of unit they have. Valve doesn't care. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I hope that's because they're amazing, maybe. One thing, actually, Gunter, you threw in the chat earlier this nice little, I think it was you that threw in the little GIF of the person using the Vive and the Leap Motion at the same time in alt space, which is just kind of cool.
I threw that in our chat, not their chat, not the public chat. But yeah, like crazy. Talk about that, dude.
Yeah, well, just like I've been in there a few times, and yeah, using Leap Motion's cool, but the simple fact that you can walk in there right now and you can see other people, and how do you know if they have a Vive? Well, it's very simple. You see these two little Vive wands
you see the controllers.
Yeah. Kind of like, I mean, when you're in VR chat, when you're using the Razer Hydra, which actually I saw that first, you can see the Razer Hydras, which is brilliant. Which actually you guys have a one-up on them right now, because yeah, when you move your arms with the Hydra, your actual arms in space move, and yeah, when you move the Hydra even outside of your arm length, the Hydra goes outside of your arm, but your arm still, I mean, it works perfect, and it feels great when you're in that little 3D space. I love how it feels. I just kept playing with that. When you're in VR, or when you're in alt space and you're using the Hydra, I'm sorry, not the Hydra, the HTC Vive ones in alt space, you just see the wands floating. Your arms are like this, so you just look like a figure like this the whole time. But you see
it's
these
this interesting design.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I wonder what everybody's going to feel more comfortable with, because you got the problem with inverse kinematics, where there's like weird janky logos sometimes. And all of it's really beta and experimental right now, so it's hard to judge. But then you got people like Oculus when you're using the toy box. When I got to try that Oculus Connect 2, it's just hands as well. So it's interesting. Sometimes it can be immersive breaking when your arm is doing weird stuff, but when you have arms, isn't that more immersive as well? So yeah, I'm really interested in that. VR chat, we're going to have full avatars. You're going to see your full arms move. I want that as well. In alt space right now, you do have just the hands and the controllers, which I get their design. Plus, they're also gear compatible. VR chat's not going to be gear compatible. These are two different sort of beasts,
Right. They're two beasts, but I mean, luckily I see a lot of the same people kind of going back and forth, and they serve their own purpose. And I don't know. So far, I love that VR chat gets to be. I can use my controller and move my head freely. I don't have that comfort mode. That's one thing I was complaining about.
Yeah. On a personal note, though, I do like fucking VR chat. Like, I don't. I think the initial. Going in the other one. What's it fucking called, Caleb? The other one?
Alt Space VR.
Alt Space VR. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I went in there. I signed up. I got the log on. and I got this like computer says no, like quite a lot. But I've never ever had a problem ever.
They have had a lot of updates recently, and I agree with you. VR chat was one of those things where the first day I touched it, you got sucked
It's been
into the
flawless
place.
for me, man.
I mean,
like no issues in
it's
VR
like
chat.
Universe. I got sucked into the place. I mean, I didn't even know it was happening. My Rift was just on and it was ready to go. And yeah, Altspace was a trial for months and months to finally get in. I can say once I finally got in, I have had some fun playing some games. Number one, Flappy Dragon and disc golf.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to play disc golf. I haven't tried that yet, and I think all of them are great. James McCrae, who puts that up, is amazing. Same thing. I love Cymatic Bruce, who's the community manager over at Altspace. All of these social VR apps are raising the tide, right? So everybody that checks out either of these are going to want to go check out the others, and I just want to see more people in social VR. I think this is really important.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I think I've said we need to next week maybe we need to jump into Altspace or VR chat and actually do the podcast from there.
Yeah,
I know it's a little bit of a technical challenge, but
we did get asked actually about that. We got asked about that earlier today if we were going to be doing it in one of those spaces, and unfortunately we didn't get to this time. But I think that would be really fun.
I think it's possible.
Shane Beasley brings up the good point. If you do have a Kinect, because the Kinect is in Altspace, if you have a Kinect looking at you, you can use your arms and body, and you can walk around, which does work pretty well.
Is that right? I don't know.
I've seen people use it. A lot of people sitting there in their dance, and they'll do this kind of stuff, and you see them moving. I saw somebody using Perception Neuron in there the other day, and they had an avatar with a skateboard. So they had an avatar with a skateboard, and he's skating around the place, and he's just moving his body, and it was like, okay, that's amazing.
Caleb,
the best part was he's kicking.
Shane also says he's coming for you in disc golf, buddy.
Oh yeah, bring it on, broski. He wants me to reveal my secrets. Like I'm just going to tell him how it works.
The only secret I saw was when you like jump in front of people and go like this when they're trying to.
That's the best one. It's the best.
One of the things is I'm going to say now is really shallow, man. It's like really, really shallow, but like I don't even care. If you are new to VR and you've got a brand new headset, like VR chat's fucking free. Like, so if you're looking for VR content, get in there. Get in there, man, because you can experience good VR in there for free.
So many people there who will help you out too, and kind of guide you along the way, man.
Well, it's all community-driven content. There's none of the rooms or the spaces or any of the content that you're trying out is made by VR chat internally. It's all made by the community. It feels like a family there. Of course, I'd say that because I've been there 2 years doing meetups, doing shows. But it's really how it is. It feels like a family, and I think that's a really important thing. It's a welcoming family. You get to learn how to, if you want to get into Unity development, which 90% of the titles out right now and demos out with VR are Unity developed or made in Unity, then that's how you can learn. So if you're like, man, I wish I could do some of this stuff, well, VR Chat has a support group basically for that. It has a group of people doing that they're new at this, or they've been playing with this for 6 years. Kirito, yes, Mr. Q, Cube Paradox. I mean, I could go on and on, all these different cool people.
Olivier, man.
It's really great.
Olivier,
Olivier. Teleconferencing and fun stuff, that's cool. If you want to learn about developing, that's another space, a place for you to be. So you can just 200 rooms or more right now of VR content, and there's just so much more coming soon. Oh yeah, it's all free.
Get in there, man. Fucking get in there.
There's just some amazing creations in there. I mean, some of the most mind-blowing stuff I've seen in VR has been in VR chat.
Hey, I got a question. This is something I've actually wanted to ask you before, man. How did you find out about VR chat? I'm always telling you how me and other people found out about. How did you discover that place? Obviously you were in Rift Max before the theater. What was your first time with them? Well, I'm interested.
Sure, it was before Rift Max. Well, Rift Max I looked at, but it was before doing like a show or there was events going on in Rift Max. It was December 2013. A long time ago, there was a post on Reddit that Graham Gaylor, who is one of the developers, he just over the Christmas vacation put together this project called VR Chat, and it was in beta. Anybody want to come test it? So yeah, that's what I did. I started testing it with them, and in January we started our meetup. So I just like, we should meet up every single week, and there were so many people around, cool developers making cool content. And that was it. So it's been 2 years now, facilitating every Sunday meetup. Please come by the meetup at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're very welcoming. It's super cool. That's how I got involved, was just being around at the right time, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll drink to that, guys. I'll fucking
right place, right time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, switch topics because I gotta go take care of something.
You
Right.
do it, buddy.
I'll be right back.
Go.
Dropping the kids off. Okay.
Number 2, all day.
Well, I'm
All
going through
day.
VR Gamer Dude's list of stuff. Let's talk about.
It's a good list. I checked it out when I was in the bath, and it's all right.
It's just, I just figured we'd have some topics or something.
Yeah.
Well, let's start from the top here. We haven't talked about the Vive pre-order debacle.
Yeah.
Let's jump in.
First of all,
I feel deceived. I feel deceived, man.
you feel deceived. I know you should.
Fucking-
Feel deceived.
I feel sad because I couldn't order one. But...
Well, you can order one. It's just
My heart cried.
Well, no, I can't.
Well, you can
I
pay
would,
for it
I
in
would
2
be
months'
living
time.
in the car and.
Oh, my
I'm not
wife
able
did
to
a
do
classic thing, right? I'm not even joking. She goes, right, so how much was that? I went, well, about 750 quid. 750 quid, she goes. And then she goes, right, and how much did the Oculus cost? Oh, about 600 quid. Yeah, right, and how much is the new graphics card you got to buy? And she
Exactly.
added it all up. She goes, so, can I have 1,500 quid to fuck around and piss against the wall? And I went, sure.
I just like, honey, it's a business expense, It's a,
Yeah. Oh man. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if you could just not worry about that sort of stuff?
Well, hey, I got
it's
the graphics card and I
crazy.
got the Oculus, but
Well,
I couldn't swing the third one. So
Yeah. I'm still trying to swing the Oculus right now,
Can
man.
I
I
point
need to.
something out when you're talking about business expense?
Needs graphic design work.
Go on, Greg.
Let's go on.
Although we all make an absolute pittance out of YouTube.
Fucking
you
penny.
can make nothing.
Now,
Nothing.
anyway, you have to pay your own tax on that shit, which
Yeah.
technically makes you self-employed and as a
Yep.
business expense.
Only
yes,
if you make more than $600 in America.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Which will
Yeah,
not
that'll take me
Then
like 6
You
years.
can put,
Yeah, exactly.
you can put your upgrades against that as a.
I can't
You
even
could-
cover my broadband from YouTube, man. I can't
Oh,
even
it's-
cover
well,
my
that's a-
broadband. Do you know what I mean? Per
You
year.
reckon I could put this down on my self-assessment in the UK as like
This
a
is not tax
a
fraud.
tax
You probably
tax
could.
write-off?
If you sort of implemented some sort of VR aspect to your
Well,
work environment.
I could put the 2 pence I make on my YouTube video channel
Yeah,
as
exactly.
my earnings, and then I could put my costs of like 1,500, $2,000.
For just pennies
against
a
that.
day, you can
Fantastic,
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Hey, you can support these poor YouTubers.
For just mere pennies a day, which is about what we make.
You know what? I'm not,
That brings up a point, though, because a lot of people, I think me and Greg were talking about this. Some people are under the assumption that we actually make money doing this, and we
Yeah.
don't. We
Yeah.
do this out of a passion and a love
Yeah.
for spreading the word of VR, man. We don't make
yeah.
shit for doing this.
But we
We
do
love
make
it.
friends,
We love
though.
it.
We do make friends.
Well, we make that, yeah. But
I make
$20
$20 a week.
Guys, I've got to say I've actually started making some money.
Yeah.
I threw up
too.
I threw up
Believe
a
it.
donation link, and I think I've made $10 in a year. So
I made £35 so far, and I've got to call out these guys because the
Yeah.
guy called Jeremy Cothran gave me £5, which bought me a nice beer in the pub.
Cash money. Cash money.
John Quits gave me £10. A chap who remained anonymous gave me £15. I mean, that's like a half decent bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
And another guy gave
legend.
me
Or a Steam game.
They
Yeah,
literally
man.
just want to see me pissed on YouTube. That's what they want. So,
yeah, there you go. There you go.
so thanks, guys. Yeah, that's as much money as I've ever made.
Is that not a
£35.
Patreon shit or what? What are you
No,
doing?
that's a GoFundMe. That is.
GoFundMe.
That's
Yeah,
what?
GoFundMe. You can use
Go do
PayPal,
what,
GoFundMe,
yeah?
whatever.
Make sure you
Go
spell
fund
it
you.
F-U-N-D. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
buddy.
fund.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the tax
To
man's
do, as soon
watching.
as you start taking it, you're
No.
gonna have to
Hey,
hit the
hey,
delete
hey, 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 go
It's gonna
fund
auto-fill.
yourself. All
Yeah.
right,
Go fund yourself.
go
y'all.
fund yourself, y'all.
Yeah, fund
Patreon's great. That's what I'm using. I'm getting a little bit of donations every week, and I hope to grow that so I can make my VR dreams come true. And
Yeah,
I'm not going to
Patreon.
shout out everybody, but Patreon, that's a weekly thing. You can subscribe for $1 a week or $5 a week.
Oh.
It's really great.
Do you
it's
feel,
not-
do
not
you
Yeah,
feel
that's for people who are
obligated
doing
though?
content regularly, unlike these guys.
With that
Yeah, you
Patreon?
want to do a weekly thing.
Yes.
What's that?
Gunter, with regards to Patreon, like so,
It's easy. It's /Gunter, so patreon.com/Gunter.
yeah, I don't want to get all personal with you and that, but like, do you feel like in your heart that you've got to be like, well, these guys are fucking supporting me per week, so I better be pumping out some content.
But he does.
I would do it
the show.
anyways. Yeah, I would do it anyways.
I was gonna
So
say,
these
I'd do
guys
it
just
anyways.
like what's going on. Somebody else subscribed last night. That's just like, oh, I'm like, thanks, man. That's really, really cool. I can't believe really anybody does. But they're just like, no, I really appreciate what you're doing, not only with the show, but what you do in VR chat. That you're just what I do, and so it's like.
Well, it's nice to have a personality like you, buddy. I'm gonna say that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nice to have a friendly guy
Definitely,
that's
You guys too, man.
and cares about the community and cares about the subject at hand, and isn't just trying to run a show and do it that way, and obviously you're doing something big, and I don't know, obviously respect.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I watched a few of the early ones, man, and like production values have increased tenfold.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're getting better and better as it goes.
Every time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got zero production fucking values, like, you know what I mean? But
no, that's bullshit. No. All of you guys are great, man. You guys are pumping shit out all the time. It's not just weekly. You guys are pumping shit out just whenever shit comes out. So that's really great, dude. You guys edit and stuff. I don't do a lot of editing. My friend K-Dog,
Not
he's
all
in
of
the
it.
chat.
No, I don't edit. My shit just goes up raw. It's like.
Yeah, basically they get what we see. You know what I mean? There's no messing about cutting stuff out. I just put up what I play.
Yeah, man. Greg's real. Weird as fuck.
I think the only editing I do is I cut in that little intro that my buddy made me. The little.
Maybe it's Caleb. Caleb does some awesome stuff with that.
Caleb's like the video production master.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to say this earlier, man, but Caleb should have fucking 10 times as many subs.
Definitely. He should. I think they're just put off by his personality.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The whole fact that I.
Yeah, he's a dickhead.
If only I had just a little bit of spunk. What is it? What do they say? That je ne sais quoi? I don't know what it is. You know.
I might be putting a pisser.
Yeah, he's great fucking at editing. Geezer's fucking top-notch editor. Editing. Best ever, but dickhead.
So I do want to afford my Oculus Rift. So now they're talking me up. Hey, if they're gonna talk me up, if anybody needs some graphic design done, I'll do it.
I know.
I'll do it for the cheap right now. I need an Oculus, please, guys. Come on.
The fucking man.
Honestly, I'll make a video for you.
Wait, right back to it. For pennies a day, you could buy Caleb an Oculus.
For pennies a day, guys. I will make you videos. I will take your old photos from you and your girlfriend or your wife, and I'll make them into these precious little memories. And
there are poor YouTubers in the first world who can't afford an Oculus. So for just pennies a day.
Yes. A game hall will do anything for money as well, you know.
That's what we've heard.
Literally, he will do anything. He's
anything.
Just name it. Name it.
Game Heart's got a ball gag on underneath that thing right now. You just can't.
You know what? Yeah, when I first ever heard about Game Hard, yeah, I used to think he walked like a cowboy for style. Sorry.
It's messed up, man.
Grab it, Wayne.
Sorry.
Wayne's hitting the Jaeger really hard.
Okay, I'm going back to the question just now.
All right, back. Bring it back home.
Yes.
Did we briefly mention Palmer's no support on Apple statement, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
on topic, guys.
Back on topic. Come on. Back on topic.
Anyone want to say anything about that?
I love my MacBook Pro. It's fucking awesome, but it can't run games, and it shouldn't necessarily run games, and that's why I have a PC.
That's not what they're designed for.
Gunter,
I buy Apple products.
Supported on Mac. What do you guys think about that?
Hey, well, real quick, Palmer Luckey just said recently in a tweet today that he actually likes Macs. He has a MacBook Pro himself, and he can't wait for Macs to finally produce a computer that can actually play an Oculus game. They just don't have one yet.
But they don't have one.
When they do,
when they have one, he will certainly buy it because he's all about that stuff. He's just unfortunately they don't have it now. But he thinks that they as a company will drive the market. And of course, somebody on Reddit had a nice little thing that said, "Hey, we'll make our $600 headset and sell it for $1,200, no problem." Love that meme.
I don't like it though. I think, and this is only personal opinion, and this is just from my single experience owning an iPhone back in the day, 3GS or whatever it was. I can't remember. When I first got it, I was like, "Oh, this phone's great, fantastic phone. It does everything you want. You can get your WhatsApp on there." But then, like about 6 months later, it's like you need a new version of like iOS. Actually, your phone's too old because we released a phone every year, so your phone's now outdated. Actually, you can't update your shit, so your phone's pretty much like a brick. it receives text and
I don't
phone
think
calls.
it's anymore. But
Yeah, maybe, yeah,
it's a
probably.
second experience for sure.
I was
No,
glad though.
Well, I gotta say, I buy these things. I'm a tech buyer for a major university, and we're 90% Apple campus. And
Because it
K-Dog
works.
just, well, yeah, and it does, and it just works. But
Just
like
works.
K-Dog just asked, he said, not even the Mac Pro, and the Mac Pro is like a $4,000 trash can looking little computer that is
I love
super
that.
powerful.
I love that
But
computer. Great design.
it's great design, but it still doesn't have the graphics pipeline to do VR.
There you go.
It's not what they're
Unless you,
It's not their
no,
thing.
you're right.
It's like, why do we have to bash them because it's not their thing? It's not their
Yeah,
thing.
it's not their thing. And
No,
to each his
yeah,
own.
definitely not bashing them. I was just a little bit butthurt about my iPhone. You know, back in the
Yeah,
day.
if you want to write a screenplay in Starbucks, then it's got its place.
And I gotta say,
Or do web development, have
web
access
development.
to a terminal line that makes sense, unlike Windows terminal that's PowerShell or whatever is just a piece of junk.
Video
do my
over there,
job
man.
without a Mac. Windows it just breaks too much.
Yeah.
Mac is stable. The one thing they have is stable. They don't have the power, but they have stability. I can leave that Mac running for over a month, never restarting, and it's just as stable as the first day.
Yeah, and I mean, you get production. I mean, video editing, music creation. I mean, all of that is really that's what the Mac is geared for. It's not a gaming machine, and it never really has been or probably will be in the near future be a gaming machine.
Do you remember in the old DK1 days, people would like have Macs, and to be honest, the support for Macs was really there with the DK1s. Almost every title would have Mac support, and then that slowly started to dwindle. And I remember reading a post on the Oculus subreddit where someone just went, "For fuck's sake, enough with the Macs. Just stop, right? It's never going to fucking happen. So just stop." And I thought that
when I did Maze Request, actually, because Unity allowed you to, you could put a Mac build out there for it. And I put it out there originally when I did my 1.0 version. I let somebody play it, and somebody on Mac said, "Hey, it works just fine. It works on my Mac." And I'm like, "Great, I'm going to put it out there as Mac." But the moment I started having even a few scripts, when the load started becoming a little bit heavy with a few more 3D models in the game, by the time version 2.0 was out, people in Mac were complaining about frame rates, where other people were saying, "Hey, it works just fine."
got voted down. I don't understand why Maze Quest has such positive comments and low votes, and it's probably because of that Mac shit,
Yeah,
I think it's like the author.
Probably the author sucks. that game was a starting point. What's unfortunate is that what I feel like is my main idea. That one was never mainstream, but you guys are gonna get it all. Okay, so let's just wait and just be excited.
So
I fucking love you, Caleb, man.
Excited for the future.
Right. So Mac, yeah, all right, we've covered that. So this actually came up in the chat a ways back, and that was one of the other topics that I wanted to bring up today. The possibility of VR support in No Man's Sky.
I was watching this in the bath today, but I'll let someone else talk because I've been chatting shit. Carry on.
And you're completely fucking pissed. Let's just go back and have a look at that face.
Look at my wonky eye.
Do you do everything in the bath?
Yes.
He takes quite a few baths.
Whatever you can think of, it's been done. It's happened in the bath at least once. I've eaten my dinner in the bath. I've drank beers in the bath. It's all good. It's all good.
The future.
Yeah, man. I haven't done VR in the bath though. Saying that.
Do that. Get it on YouTube.
Surely the fuck you haven't had a shit in the bath.
Greg,
So
He went
Baby
there.
Ruth in the pool. Baby Ruth in the pool.
I wasn't quite on that level, Greg, man. But let's go there. Let's go there, Greg.
No.
Next video. Next upload, guys.
No.
Okay, sorry. So what were you saying about No Man's Sky, Don?
No, I was just saying there was there's been a lot of buzz about that, and is it going to get VR support? Is it not going to get VR support? And there was a recent on-camera interview with the developers, and he kind of alluded to the fact that it possibly will down the road. They're a small development team. This is a massive undertaking for them. But he kind of let it slip a little, I guess. I don't know, in that interview that it's something they're looking into, and I for one think it is that game just screams VR.
Yeah, well, I think basically what he said was he really thinks the game would fit VR, and then straight after saying that, he said, "I've probably said too much already."
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's,
NDA or MDA, whatever it is.
Yeah. That's
MDA,
right.
no, MDA is a club drug, dude. NDA is what they say.
MDMA, what?
MDMA.
What?
MDMA or
Jaeger, bro.
Yeah, they signed their MDMA agreement. Yeah, so.
So they're all floating around and dancing.
But yeah, so it's like it almost kind of seems like he was about to let something slip.
Sorry. I'm not, man. Sorry, guys.
So I just spat whiskey on my mic.
Okay, so what was the next thing on the list?
Carry on.
What was sorry, yeah.
Go on.
Get it back. There's an Oculus. Oh, we done the Oculus box picture leak, haven't we? That's a load of bollocks. We done that. VR roller coasters at Six Flags theme park. That's a nice story, isn't it? Let's bring that one up. Let's share my screen because I can do this. I can do this stuff.
I don't know, man.
Here we go. What do you think about this?
I don't
this
know, man.
appeal to you?
If they do it the way that that they were doing in Europe when they were doing the testing, I think it'll be phenomenal. I mean, if the actual roller coaster, and I would assume that they are, and what I mean by that is they've actually got trackers on the roller coaster, so the roller coaster knows how fast you're going, it knows where you're at, and what's amazing with that is the simple fact that when you're in the headset as you're going around a big bend, in the visual sense, in the demo that I saw, they were on the back of a dragon. And so they're on the back of a dragon, the dragon's flapping its wings, so when they're looking around, they see the dragon's wings, and they see him in front, and they see him diving down into the city, breathing fire down, and then, of course, they go around the corner, and the dragon's banking left, going back up into the sky, and, on the roller coaster, they're going back up. So you can imagine, if it's point on with the graphics and you're looking at it and it's spot on with what you're feeling and the world's with the G's, I mean, then you don't have that vestibular, or the differences or whatever with your brain and the thought, the thing that makes me sick all the time,
Well, I think with this, I mean, you think about how a roller coaster works. It's only they could do it purely on timing. It doesn't actually need any kind of technology to track where you are on the coaster because the coaster will take exactly an amount of time to get around a route.
Yeah, right. No, you're absolutely right. That it could definitely eventually be. Or I just know that when they were originally doing it, they had things on the actual wheels. They had like lasers like touching the wheels, so they knew the speed of it. But you're absolutely right. The timing. They've got all these things that virtually programs.
Nonsense. I mean, come on. It's like watching a movie through your camcorder. I mean, if you could actually see the movie right in front of you. Instead, you want to watch it through this little. I don't get it.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Well, it allows for like different experiences though. So like you're feeling the tracked movement, but you're flying in a starfighter. You're riding on a dragon's back. You're
it's hard for me to explain to you, but like it's sitting on my transducer chair when I'm playing Elite Dangerous. When I've got this thing on, even 35%. When I'm playing Elite Dangerous, I feel so much more like I'm playing and flying that game than when the chair's off. It's almost
it almost gives you the sensation of movement.
Yeah,
you can't. Locomotion in VR right now is a problem.
Exactly.
You can't. Like roller coasters are cool in VR right now, but like you don't actually get the locomotion. So now on a coaster, as long as it's perfect, right? As long as there isn't tracking problems, as long as you're not getting sick. Obviously, I'm assuming they've worked this out. Why would they put out a whole freaking roller coaster with?
But also, I've definitely known I've seen people playing like No Limit, and they have these motion rigs, like the 3 depth of whatever motion or 6 DOFs, and clearly that thing worked when they were playing No Limits 2, like a proper roller coaster game, and you could see they were banking to the left, they were banking to the right. So I mean, as VR progresses, I mean, more and more people are going to have these headsets in their home. So why would you actually go outside if you can, bring the experience to you?
Well, because you don't get real locomotion. You don't get the wind blasting on your face. So what they could do is like drops that look bigger than possible. They are taking advantage of it. I think it's just cool to have both things.
You're absolutely right. You could take a roller coaster realistically and make the height look twice as real, and then just kind of speed lift as
and
you're
change it
going
up
down.
often. And what I liked was the Superman situation. So you can have Lex Luthor there. You can have a whole metropolis in front of you. You don't have like you're seeing all the other attractions, and you can see Lex Luthor floating, and then he makes everything anti-gravity. So you feel like you're floating in this roller coaster with everything else, but then he slams the anti-gravity down back to normal gravity, and everything comes falling, crashing down. So you're falling with that. And I want to be immersed in that universe of Superman and maybe Superman can save the day.
Now that would be cool though. That would be cool though.
And they're just so much much potential for this. I mean,
no, exactly, potential. That's what people have talked about, not just roller coasters, but entire theme parks, virtual reality theme parks. So where you'd have like the void type centers, you know, where you've got several different buildings that have obviously prefabricated areas, steps and things, and stairs and railings where they need to be in the virtual environments. But people can run through, and in this place they play the virtual ice experience. In this place they play, you know, in whatever, you know, the Titanic experience, whatever you want to have in each different building. But you've got the roller coasters outside, and everything could be virtual reality. And of course, why would you do that? You know, Gamehart's saying, and that's just it. You can make all the same experiences times 10 with your favorite characters, and you're still going to have a reason to go to normal parks. But these other parks are the future. They're, you know, kind of a future type park, a future type of entertainment. They're going to push, you know, boundaries and obviously, hopefully, ticket sales for these people to make money. But also, I think Gamehard makes a great point talking about people in their houses. I made this chair for, you know, $100. People are going to be, you know, buying these things as soon as they come out, and much more often. And Ready Player One, he's got his whole haptic gloves and his suit and his chair and everything moves. I mean, yeah, this is what I think the whole industry is eventually looking at happening. But as Wayne said before too, is, you know, the Omni that he's getting is going to take up so much space. Not the average person is going to be able to buy all that stuff.
Well, I think what GameHop is saying has real validity, because at the end of the day, if you get on a roller coaster, that is stimulating and exhilarating enough. And surely you could build that kind of thing to do the vestibular stimulation and the G-force within a cube about 20 meters by 20 meters with a bunch of hydraulics on it. You don't need to build a
without G-forces
roller coaster. Well, you could have the G-force as well, surely within that environment. You know, within a much less expensive
G-forces
device.
are a thing that you'd literally be having to be in a device that would be spinning you around. And so unless your room had an actual
you can't have
device,
all that. Yeah.
you could never have the G-force, like the feeling of pressure being pushed against you when you're falling down. I mean, like,
I'd rather have that thing in my house where I get to do all kinds of cool shit with than go to, you know, the roller coaster parks. But that's very expensive. That makes me think of those racing simulators that have all the hydraulics. That's just badass. But people aren't really gonna have that. If I can go to the theme park and, you know, for $100 and be able to try different. Immersive's got a nice beard like myself there. If I can go to the theme park, I'm really thinking about a good addition to the theme park.
You know, sure, as of now, there's a market for this because it's so new and exciting, and you can do a lot of things. But I'm definitely thinking, like, 10 years, 50 years in the future, I am so sure that we are going to be, people are going to stay home. We're going to be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be
never leave virtual reality. I do agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna strap in that headset. We're gonna create our worlds we want to live in. You know, we're gonna be isolated. That's what I think.
You won't necessarily want butt kickers in your chair. You're gonna want toilets. In your chair because you don't want to
say in 50 years I'm gonna need it in my chair because I'm gonna be 95.
There was a short that was on Oculus Reddit. It was like a short film.
Hey. Oh, Half-Life 3 confirmed. I see Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, there was a really short sort of quite open-minded film, and it was like it was high production values, and basically it had like this really cool sort of people were going around to these really sort of squalor. People were living in squalor. They weren't washing. They weren't doing nothing, but they were just spending all their time in VR, and it was quite. There was a short about it.
What was that thing called?
I just watched. It wasn't Ethereal because I just watched that the other day, and that one was really good.
No, it was the one. I know what you're talking about. Production values, huh?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, they were making it into an ongoing. They were going to make a proper film out of it, and it had these rather than VR headsets, they had these little nose plugs. They like plugged their nose.
Yeah.
And they were they were floating around and shit, and yeah, man. Like there was a VR community of like. It was almost like you'd class them as the crackheads, the homeless, and the VR guys that were left out. You know, like so these guys were just addictive natures consumed by VR. You know, like it's worrying. It's a possibility. You know,
I gotta say it again, man. I gotta say it again. I know you guys are probably annoyed as hell of me saying this, but Ready Player One, man. I know I'm like late on reading it, but that if you guys haven't read it yet, any of the spies that haven't read it, we got to, because that book talks a lot about that universe of people living, 30 people in a small, house where all they do is they sit in VR, all day, and people
Oasis.
in VR, and I mean. most people have a job.
Everything you do is in VR. Yeah.
I mean, some people
Well, and it's
work in the
cheaper and like so scarcity. There's this scarcity of what materials you can get, what kind of things you can buy, and we all want to buy things, which is kind of its own thing. But like
another thing I really want to talk about, and this is something we haven't discussed on the podcast. This is weaponized systems and stuff. I mean, I know I saw a movie back in the days where they were training these kids. They were playing simulator games,
Toy.
Well, not
Toys.
What was it? Toys?
Toys. Robin Williams.
Yeah, that was an old.
Came up last night on the podcast. Jesus, this is weird.
Yeah, and there's another video as well. I know a newer version kinda, and they were training these kids. They were playing games. And in reality they were fighting.
The space one. The space one.
Yeah, the space one.
Oh, Ender's Game.
Ender's Game.
Oh yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. I mean, do you guys think that the future will be something like that? I'm sure they're going to be using.
Well, if America instituted the draft, I think it would be to institute people like me or require me to go to war to pilot those drones, because people that are in VR would be the most likely to be able to pilot those drones first. But no, I don't really see that.
I don't see that happening. No.
I mean, I'm not talking about the kids actually doing the job, but I'm sure this technology is going to be used in
drones.
Those settings, especially drones. Especially drones. I think also, this was a couple of months back as well, up in Norway actually, where I'm from, where the Norwegian army rigged this tank, this big tank, with cameras around the front, and the tank operator was strapping in the Rift. This was a modified Oculus Rift DK2. I think they spent like $30,000 on it. And the tank operator, when he strapped in the Rift, he could look all outside the tank. He could just.
Gamehard, you might have actually been here, but I think we touched on that in one of the podcasts recently, because I think Belgium was the first place to do it, but then a lot of European countries are doing exactly what you said. They're strapping their tanks to the DK2 to avoid having a guy on top with his head out,
Yeah.
You close the hatch and keep it closed, but exactly. So that's when you were talking, before you mentioned it, I was going to bring that up too, because that's exactly what I thought about when you mentioned the war. They've already got the technology in war machines that happened years ago, so you can only imagine, what they've got by now.
It's not going to take much of a leap, is it, for some general somewhere to go, hold on a minute. No, we can make them pop their heads out and in the tank. We can make them pop their heads out in a bunker somewhere else.
Right.
What I think is interesting is the military did pioneer VR technology, but now they're going to use rifts. They're going to use technology that Palmer Luckey invented because it's cheaper and it works even better to do these sorts of things. I find that fascinating.
It wasn't open source. They hid it, so of course it stayed stagnant. It didn't progress through the years because they were the only ones that were touching it, and unfortunately that's how a lot of that stuff is. But there's no doubt that augmented reality is actually something that they've been looking at for a long time, and by now they've got great advances on being able to see your field in front of you, being able to see all the information about everything also at the same time is something that they've been always wanting, and I'm sure they've got that pretty good by now. But yeah, that's augmented reality is really. I think
what's cool about the movie was that those kids played games, right? They were thinking they were just playing video games, but those kids were actually fighting wars. So I think that's what was cool about that movie.
So I guess this is the dark side, of the technology, but also there's a positive side, especially when it comes to hospitalized people. We've been reading a little bit about it the last couple of months. People in hospitals, getting to try the Gear VR and just. Yeah, getting to escape reality for a little while. I think it's brilliant.
Agree.
It is. It's funny because this subject usually comes up in each of our podcasts. Because I was
going to say we've touched on this quite a few times.
We've touched on it a lot, but I think there's a reason for it, right? Because obviously we appreciate that it's quite an important subject. But Wayne, I'm catching you up on being pissed. By the way, I actually went for a drink there and I missed my mouth. So
yeah.
Oh Lord.
There was a really cool product. This is kind of not purely VR related, but it kind of segues into like the AR sort of scene. There's this really cool device. It's coming out. Its release date is for May. It's already had a successful Kickstarter. It's called HUDway. And if you've got like this sort of technology is already in high-end cars. If you haven't got a high-end car, like I haven't got a high-end car, it's all right. But so this sort of technology, but uses your mobile phone, In my car's good, but it's old school, 2007 model, so it doesn't have this tech. Basically, it's like a augmented reality HUD that's using your mobile phone and GPS to reflect shit onto your windshield or windscreen in the UK that comes back to us. So it's got this really cool reflective glass stuff. It's almost like a fighter pilot sort of setup. You put it on in front of your steering wheel on the dashboard, and using your GPS signals, it basically like plots out your course on the road. It's called HUDway. It's really, really cool. Very, very cheap considering what it actually does. And I'm so excited to get one. I need to buy one because I do a lot of driving, man. And yeah, so you put your phone in this little thing, and then basically it pops up even in daylight on your windscreen, like in a 3D space in front of you, without glasses or lenses or anything, and you just get to see, and it plots out the route in front of you. It's impressive, you know, to say the least.
Buddy. I want to see a video.
I've got to say, I've got a picture of it here, but I'm gonna blow your mind now. I'm gonna blow your mind, Wayne.
Please
do. You can do this with just a basic iPad or even your phone. Because there's plenty of these apps out there that do the GPS stuff, and they just invert the image, and you just lay it on your dashboard, and it reflects off the windscreen.
I think the only thing that's slightly different about this is it's highly reflective. Even in the daytime, whatever, you know, low light, whatever, you can see it, no problem.
So it's just like a piece of reflective glass with a platform.
Yeah, definitely super shiny, super reflective. It clips onto your phone, and you can see shit off your phone reflected.
So it's not a lot of money. It's only $49. That's really cheap.
Yeah. So it does exactly the same thing. Inverts the image. You're basically seeing a reflective image, so a reflection of whatever's on your phone. So you can have your speedo, GPS, and all kinds of stuff. And I just thought it was really cool, and it was
nice. It is nice. Yeah. I do like that concept.
I'm gonna get that in May whenever it drops. So there you go, guys.
Thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna keep an eye on it.
So this sounds a lot like Meta, right? So Meta 2, which is something that was in the news this week, is an AR headset, and it has your phone actually mounted up here, and the screen or the visor, the whatever the screen is reflecting what is on the phone, basically the phone.
Oh, really?
So it actually operates, I think, very similarly, and produces holograms in your, and mixed on top of your real reality, so augmented reality.
Very interesting.
That's cool. I actually put that in the chat topics. There should be a link to the
just bring it up now. Just bring it up now.
Metavision.
Yeah, Meta is, and apparently from what I've been reading, I mean, everybody was all dogging on HoloLens and stuff like that, and obviously with $3,000 for a developer kit puts it a little bit out of range. Meta already has launched their developer kit. You can pick it up for under $1,000. And the thing looks amazing. I mean, it kind of solves the field of view problem. People are saying that the field of view in the Meta 2 is very akin to the Gear VR, so it's right around that 90-degree field of view. So not looking at the world through a little window.
Yeah, 90-degree though is
still free. Seems low still.
It is still
compared to HoloLens,
AR,
which is like 40 or 50 degree.
It's 45,
I think it's 45 degree. Back when I started in VR, 35-degree field of view in my first systems, like the old VFX1, or I love pulling that damn thing out. Sorry, my eyeglasses system. I mean, 35 to 38-degree field of view was kind of common, and it really was like looking at just a floating window in front of you. I mean, it wasn't anything like what we have today. So the ability to have augmented reality in a 90-degree field of view.
The future's now.
Yeah. Well, so on the podcast I was on last night with Malia and Reverend Kyle dropped the knowledge. I'm like, Meta, man, look, have you seen those videos? Those are fucking amazing. Like Will Mason from Upload was able to get his camera in there and show us a little bit. I'm not sure where to. I guess Upload VR will have that video there.
It's on YouTube. I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I guess the problem he was saying, and I don't really know because of course I haven't tried these things, is the tracking. It's like not. It has a lot of latency, and if you go to grab things, that things are very latency there. Whereas something like HoloLens doesn't have the latency. So what would you want? More field or view, or do you want the lower latency?
I want less latency.
Yeah, less latency.
Feel more real.
So I thought that was interesting.
Seeing objects jump around is kind of very, well, it's not very immersive. Not at all.
Yeah, I think AR clearly has a bit of a way to come, but I think we all kind of can see that AR, just because of the applications there, is probably going to have broader applications and probably a broader audience than VR, right?
Minority Report.
Hey, talking about the future. Talking about the future, we can segue into VRSpies.com real quick.
Even for something like smaller businesses, like say a joiner, he's coming into somebody's house, carpenter, and it's a woman. She wants a couple of shelves put up in her house,
of course.
And the guy tells her to stick on her AR device, and she sees the shelves on the wall, the different sizes of shelves, the different styles of shelves. She can have them positioned exactly where she wants them.
And if he's a good worker, he'll show her. Otherwise, he doesn't want her to see what he's not going to do.
Of course, AR can be crazy, but just to think about the educational, but then, like you're saying, instruction. So if I want to put together that IKEA furniture, like it can just totally say, here's where you need to put screws, and this is the type of screws, and it can just totally guide you through putting things together, instructions, right?
Instructions.
Yeah, I mean, you could
guitar.
You could even probably redecorate your house in AR and see it all done, but choose your wallpaper,
Phone app called Planner VR, Kitchen VR, and it's made by the Planner, the group Planner VR. They're the ones that made all these apps, but you can do exactly that. I mean, it's very basic right now. It's kind of crude models, but you basically, like if you're doing your kitchen, you click on a kitchen, and you go through the different models on your phone, you click it, and then you basically go through your phone's camera pass-through, and it will place that model right there, but you're not in the 3D space, but you're still looking at it through a screen, and it's still sitting there, and it's got the motion tracker, so if you move it, it's still, you can kind of walk up to it and everything.
That's impressive.
That works right now, and like so that's called Planner VR. They've got another app called Kitchen VR. You can check them out for free. They've got paid versions of them too. But that stuff I saw, like within the last few months, I thought that was very impressive. But it goes right along that line of you're saying, kind of the purchasing and being able to see things before you have to buy them. I like that aspect quite a bit. Yeah. And another thing, which talking about buying things, I know I'm going to segue here, but VRSpies, I think, was it Don? You wrote the article on promotions in virtual reality, kind of just being able to promote things through either augmented reality or whether it be in virtual reality programming or just just different formats of that.
Well, no. The article I wrote was just simply about how companies are sending out VR as a promotional device. I mean, you're starting to see this. Jesus Christ, my kids are going to be able to go to McDonald's and get their Happy Meal and turn it into a Happy Goggles.
Right. So I guess that's my point. Is it's all coming together because absolutely. We showed the thing last week about the Coke thing, and on your article too, you show all the different devices that are coming out in your cereal box. You can get an AR device or a virtual reality device.
Cardboard device.
Yeah, cardboard for your phone, right? But I mean, even then, when you start to go in the apps themselves, I mean, you're going to be walking through 3D spaces that are going to have different places, and you're going to have cereal boxes in your apps and different things. And what are they going to say on them? Are we going to have people getting paid for these advertisements? And the answer is absolutely. People have talked about the banners in Elite Dangerous and different advertisements they can do in places like that. So I think it's interesting to see just how obviously the companies are finally taking a look at virtual reality as a whole, not just in marketing it with its devices, but trying to get inside of it too. So
I can see that. I mean, that's literally, you're going to be walking through virtual worlds, and you're going to see virtual billboards, and they're going to be for actual devices, and things that you can buy in the real world.
Going back to Ready Player One, and Gunter, this because you're an oldie with that, Mr. Gunter. Man, respect. Okay, so like in the book, they're sitting there. This gets me. I'm so into it because I've just got done reading it recently. But like one of the parts, he's sitting in his house, and when he's in his house, obviously he's all in virtual reality. But what's he do? He walks up to the pizza counter, you know what I mean? And they say in the book, well, obviously, if he were to buy a piece of pizza in virtual reality, it would immediately deduct a piece of pizza from his bank account in real life, and the piece of pizza would be sent to him to his door, and all he has to do is open that little thing, and boom, he's got pizza right there. So, I mean, I can kind of see that happening. I mean, look at Amazon right now. You think they're not going to want to put a store in VR and let you go buy shit? Absolutely. And the moment you hit that buy button, you're going to get a package or a drone at your door, within the next day.
Actually, in some places, same day. I mean, there are places now where Amazon has same day delivery.
Yeah, I mean, there was a long time ago, I can't remember, it might have been DK1 or early DK2, where there was a nail painting demo, and straight away, you're going to, that's where that's going. You know,
well, there's a Gear VR.
Fantasticism.
Gear VR has like in the Innovator Edition Gear VR that I got, there was and I can't remember the name of the app right now, but it was that. It was a kind of a mock virtual storefront where you could go and you walk in the store and you look at the different products, and I can totally see that coming.
I heard today Lowe's, the hardware store, has it so you can use cardboard or something to look at your kitchen or a virtual kitchen.
Nice.
So it's coming. This year is the huge year of interest in VR, right? Of course, because consumer, but like the big companies, the McDonald's, which is only in Sweden right now, or will it's all projected. Yeah. Coca-Cola has something you can fold into a cardboard. I'm not really interested in cardboard, so I don't care too much about that. I mean, how can I go from a Rift to a cardboard? That's kind of just silly.
My whole point when I read the article is that it's a very cheap method for these companies to kind of break away from traditional print advertising and kind of push it to the the cutting edge of, hey, well, here we want to advertise our product, but we want to do it in a cool way. So here's this cardboard type device. Slip your phone into it. The first one that I ever got was when the Volvo XC90 came out. You could take a virtual test drive of the car. You just went to the website, you put in your address, and a couple of days later, the cardboard device showed up. You scan the QR code, and you're sitting in the XC90.
Yep,
yeah, that's cool.
That's a great way to get people interested in something and make them talk about it. Obviously nowadays though, it'd be somewhat hard because you get lost in the mix. There's so much stuff.
Now the happy goggles. Do I really want to strap a burger-smelling box to my face? No, not really.
Yes.
I think Greg touched on that though. He goes, that's like marketing, because then it's like, oh well, now I want a hamburger again because now I'm smelling the hamburger on my face.
You have to buy it though for like $4 and something. It doesn't just. It's not just a Happy Meal.
That's not just a Happy Meal. Yeah.
That man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I assume then it's not the actual Happy Meal box that has all the grease.
No,
I don't know.
No, it's not. It's something that comes
box. You just pull out your
pie box.
It's just a toy.
It's the pie box. Well, since we're somewhat on the subject of businesses in VR, I guess I'll quickly try to go over. I put out an article today called "The Digital Mixing in Virtual Reality," or "The Future of Digital Mixing." I work a lot in event production and just media production and watching people that are either in sound booths, sound mixers, consoles. Just seeing people running these large systems all the time for these shows. And it's become just very obvious and apparent that not only is the industry of event production going to be using virtual reality headsets very soon, but other jobs like call centers and things where people normally have monitors all around them or have to multitask, they could very easily set up situations in their VR headsets where the environments are perfectly set for their jobs without all these extra things. And kind of just what I mean by that real quickly is just like with the soundboard, as you can imagine, you've got 36 channels, but maybe you're only doing a concert where you're using 14 of them. In virtual reality, I can create a 14-channel board that's perfect for what I need. Obviously, you have to have a separate hardware hookup, but in the future, you're going to see people sitting there running shows, Lawnmower Man style. Being able to have perfect devices in front of them that work just great with them.
On that subject, Caleb, I could be slightly wrong on this. I don't think I am, though. Virtual Desktop, when that first released, it didn't support multi-monitors, but I'm pretty sure Virtual Desktop supports multi-monitors now.
Oh, yeah.
It does.
It does. Yeah, it
does. Absolutely. Yeah, you can sit there and throw if I've got 3 monitors at home, I can throw up 3 separate monitors in Virtual Desktop, and clearly even the future of that is just programming more. Obviously, if you're having just a virtual reality headset as your main programming, you could program literally as many screens that you need around you. And one thing I think too is for audio people, if you're an audio engineer, you're constantly putting headphones on and listening to different frequencies, and you're trying to hear if the drummer's too loud or if the singer's got a frequency that's too different. You're trying to change those things. Whereas in VR, you could literally or even augmented reality, you could literally see the sound waves, and you could see which ones were off, and you could know which ones to turn down, or you could even use your hands and move them. I mean, you could do so many things in interacting with sound waves and video and lighting, as opposed to using sliders or dimmers. You've actually got hands that you can interact with them in 3D space using haptic gloves or even wands or the motion controllers, and not just for fun, not just for games, but to create brand new types of shows that we've never seen before, to do event production in ways that were never done before, but are almost just
to do your job.
easier ways to do jobs. Because I mean, even when I think about like a security guard, or my dad used to work at a lot of, before he did computer stuff, he used to work in water plants, right? And I remember I used to go with him to go to the water plants, and one thing we would do is we would have to check the numbers on all the water tanks, right? And if any alarms went off or the numbers were bad, you know, bad things could happen. Well, if somebody didn't do their job, it could be simply either misreading a number or not looking at it properly. Well, in VR, if everything's coded into these systems, I mean, you can have your whole world flash red when something's not right. You're not going to miss that. You're not going to miss a number when something's not right, because things are going to be in your face. You know, you're not going to miss your meeting because boom, you got this time coming hitting you in the face. You've got something going on right now. So I mean, jobs in VR that are technical jobs, I see them advancing and being perfect for it. And last thing I want to say too is I also worked a lot of call center jobs. I worked call centers for almost 4 years, where you know, incoming calls for Carol Wright, Dr. Leonard's catalog, people buying everything from, you know, blinds to vibrators, and it was, you know, an awful job in the sense that I've got a computer right in front of me, and you've got these short little things, and you can't move much. But even in those crappy circumstances, having a headset on and being able to feel like you're kind of in a vast environment, maybe a spacious place with just, you know, maybe water or a fountain somewhere, even if it's fake, I would still happier. I would be happier at doing my job. I would feel better about it, and I certainly wouldn't feel so shitty at the end of the day. So I really do think that a lot of jobs
work in an environment like that, mate.
Not just the employers, but the employees. You know?
I can just picture myself in Japan now. I see a lot of kids, you know, just trapped in these rifts, you know, and just working under shitty conditions. I wonder if that's the case, though, you know.
But
virtual reality
sweatshops. If they've got exactly. At least it's a little bit better.
Yeah, they wouldn't know it's shitty. I mean, it's fine.
I'm not trying to paint the whole picture of it. It'll be great when we're all strapped in these VR headsets and everybody's stuck in these lines, but at the same time, it's better than being stuck in these cubicles with these hot little computers that are, you know, crappy. They can't afford good stuff, you know. So that's always.
Well, it's a real philosophical debate, right? I mean, in the day, you know. What is reality? You know, we get onto this subject quite a lot. I mean, essentially, if reality sucks so much that when you stick a VR headset on, reality's better, you can look at that from an external perspective and see a sad man in a dirty room, like wearing a weird VR headset and thinking, isn't that terrible what humanity's become? Or you can look at that and think, from his perspective, he's on a desert.
Well.
No, I think we lost Chris.
He's on the desert. That's all we know.
Yeah. They pulled Chris out of reality.
Well, apparently what he was saying was too important for you guys to find out, so we're not going to even touch on that. You know? Yeah.
Well, I think all this working in job environments comes down to like design, VR interface design. You know, what works well for people to do their job.
Hey, actually, when we lost Chris, we lost the. Oh wait, no, there it is. It's back.
Am I still here?
We lost.
No,
I can hear you. You didn't lose it. It's fine. It's still running.
Yeah, it's designed. So like, what do you want to do? I mean, we could just look at monitors, but is monitors enough? Is that all we want to do? Is look at monitors and how you get to your keyboard? I mean, that's like another whole issue. You can't see your keyboard, so you got to be able to do that.
Well, I saw a guy that actually he just put a little tracker on his keyboard, right? So no matter what, his keyboard was always where it was in 3D space, and he had the leap motion. So even though it wasn't perfect, every time he went to go touch his keyboard, it was always where it was. And then if he'd pick it up and move it, it moved in 3D space. So I saw that was pretty sweet, because no matter what, when you put your hands on the keyboard, you kind of know where your fingers should be. So as long as you know where your keyboard's at, I mean, that's already a huge thing. So as long as we can track our devices, like even, you know, putting like a small sticker on the back of your phone. So now in VR, every time you need to know where your phone's at, you can look around and you've got this little, you know, you can see it, you know. Or,
that's coming, man. That's coming.
Absolutely, different things like
we
that.
We want that so bad. Or do we want to transcend the keyboard? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but, you know, what is that? And so there's this guy, Mike Alger, Alger, and he's a VR chat user, and he was just doing research in London at the college he was going to, but he put out this video. I don't know if you guys saw it on Reddit, probably like 5 months ago. It was all about VR interface and you know, showing what makes sense, like how far you want to reach for things. So there's like this certain zone of around you that you would want to be able to interact, or, you know, would you have many screens, or what else could you do? How would you simulate like a calendar in VR? You know, would it be like there's a night-day cycle for you? And so we're talking about environmental design. We're not talking about like just 2D interfaces, but your environment changes, and maybe you turn to the left and you have like a Siri or Cortana Assistant. So every time you turn, you can ask your assistant something. So it's really turning things in. Like, how can the production field change it? You have your mixers, but how can we go beyond that? I guess seeing frequencies everywhere and stuff. I mean, I find that to be super fascinating. We haven't seen much of that yet. I can't wait.
No, but that's where it needs to go. And you could realistically have one person doing so much more and so much more, quality and just
working lean, man.
So much
working
more information.
Yeah. One thing I put in there, I remember, and it's just not. I think I've heard other people say this. I'm sure I have. Is it's not just thinking about the jobs that we can change to VR. It's the jobs that don't exist yet. The VR jobs that we haven't even thought about yet. That's really exciting, and I'm just going to leave it there. I'm happy to be reading that. I'm happy to see other people doing the same kind of developments and whatnot with it. But yeah, it's going into places where we don't know yet. Augmented reality is really fun. I can say that I really like that too after playing a few demos recently. I'm really into that. But yeah, I don't know. I want to get back into some more horror stuff, and I also know, Gunter, you play a lot of Windlands. I've been seeing you play Windlands. That's like the only game I see you really play a lot, Windlands, buddy.
I don't get to play as many games, yeah. Well, I could, but I just don't end up, because I'm doing so much VR chat and the day job and whatever else is on my plate. Windlands, yeah, man. Freaking John Hibbins and Nick Pittum and those guys at SciTech, but the actual original creators of Windlands, I forget their names. It's a little hard to pronounce. All of them now are in SciTech games, and yeah, I like some. I haven't played the latest updates, but I played I was speedrunning, man. I finally clicked on how to speedrun that stuff, and I was getting like number 6 on the leaderboard. I'm curious what it is now. I'm actually gonna boot up my Steam and check that out. But man, it's so cool being Spider-Man or Tarzan and just swinging, from tree to tree. Or there was the challenge where you don't get to swing. It's just all jump challenges. It's all parkour. It's all platforming. And trying to get that in a minute or 2 minutes and stuff was really, really fun. I think that's a great launch title. It's a great experience that I share with my friends, and they're just blown away. How immersive it is, and how much fun it is, and I love it. What do you guys think about Windlands?
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah,
it's like one of the only games that still gives me the butterflies in my stomach feeling when I'm swinging around.
So Windlands is one.
Are you guys up on the leaderboard? So you guys working on that?
No. See, you're talking about you have to have it on Steam, I think, right, to be on the leaderboard, right?
Yeah, I still just have the crappy old demo.
Yeah, I've got
you got to buy it, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to buy it, and I think real quick, how much money is it?
Yeah.
$20?
Oh, it's way worth it. I mean, you're talking about it's much better experience. Well, it's just they really designed the levels really tightly, and there's actual speedrun challenge levels that record your time, so you're watching the time go by while you're playing. You're trying to go as fast as you can. It's intense, man. It's $20 right now. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I completely agree with you. I played it back in the day, back when they were giving the free demo out there, and I can be honest, I get queasy pretty easy, and it did get me. It got me quite a bit, but it was still, it popped so well, and it was so. The feeling of kind of just bouncing was like the bungee cord. It was amazing, and I can tell after playing some other games a little bit more, I think I'll be a little more, ready to go this time. So I'm really excited about it. I want to get back into it. And every time I see you playing it, I'm like, I don't know, I want to jump in so badly. I wish they would get to multiplayer support as well, because that would just make it all the better to be able to see your friend flying around and be able to chase them.
I don't see that. I was talking to John. That's pretty hard for them to be able to do. So that's not something he was seeing for a while right now. But that would be amazing to be able to race around in multiplayer or things like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm number 10 on one of the challenges, so I challenge you to beat me on Windlands. Any of you.
Don't challenge me unless you want me just to kick you out of the scoreboard, bro. I
dare you. Then I'll make me play more. You can't do it.
Billy was on Flappy Dragon, and I took Billy down. No more Flappy Dragon. I'm Flappy Dragon King. And then disc golf, Shane was all like, "Bring it on, reality check," and I was like, "Beasley, bring it."
But that's them. See, this is Gunter, and you can't.
Oh hell! Oh man, he's throwing.
Don't you say it!
Don't
you say it!
Okay, it's interesting.
Some of these guys. So my time is like 1 minute and 43. You got somebody with 1 minute and 10 seconds. I don't even get it. Some people aren't playing Rift. They're playing desktop, and so I don't know how. I feel like I have the advantage, but I don't know. Some people are crazy.
Talking about time. I think. What do you say, Chief, Grandpa? Is it time to call it a?
we usually wind it up after a couple of hours, unless there's any really hot topics people want to bring up. Now it would be a good time to bring it up in the chat.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was a technical question in the chat, and I just noticed that too. Did we change something because we don't see we don't see all of us across the bottom of the screen anymore?
Oh, that was because
that might have been me.
Chris broke it.
That might have been me.
Chris broke it.
Cheers, Chris.
Now fix it. If I just click that, I clicked a button, and that's always a bad idea.
Chris started clicking on things.
I clicked something. He said, "Do you want to do this?"
Alan,
okay, fuck it, do that thing.
There they are. Yeah, Alan was asking about it. So.
It's because they really just want to be watching Wayne the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of course they do. I can't blame them.
Hasn't said much for a while. All eyes are on Wayne's little box at the bottom there.
Chris, man, my box is just for you, mate. You know that.
Oh, well,
it's all yours, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't need to hear that.
So, we haven't really got much in the way of questions now. That's it, is it? Is that it?
I killed it off, man.
We always sort of end with a bit of a whimper.
Well, real quick, Gunter, you got anything going on? I guess this next week you said, you got to
plug that shit, man.
Show coming on this coming week. Who once again could you go over?
Pete Moss. He's the guy doing VR at Unity, along with Timothy West. But those two people are, you want to be able to be in Unity and have all your panels, but be in VR while you're building in Unity. This is what they're working on. I'm really excited to talk to them. Will Mason from Upload VR is going to be on the show at some point. Ron Millar, man, he's so cool. I don't know if you guys know him. He's been hanging out in VR chat. I met him about 6 months ago. He is a game designer for Lost Vikings. He was part of Interplay. Or he also did some of the initial designs for Warcraft 1. And he's part of Blizzard in the very, very beginning, so he's fantastic. If you go to Ron Millar, M-I-L-L-A-R, on Twitter, you'll see his sketches for the barracks and the towers for the orcs in Warcraft 1. And fun fact, his name's Ron, so Lord of Ron in Warcraft is him. It's Lord Ron, basically. So I hang out with him all the time in VR chat. It's really cool the amount of personalities and people that come out to VR chat. All these people are going to be on Gunter's Universe, which is Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Come out to VR chat, vrchat.net. Just download it. It's so easy. It'll be great, and I really appreciate the VRSpies and all these guys that you come on my show. I'm now on your show. I'm really excited, and cheers. Here's some more Jameson down the hatch.
Boom.
For anybody here in the Central Time Zone, Central America, that's 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Central Time Zone. And just in case anybody ever watches this stream that doesn't have a virtual reality headset, keep in mind that you do not have to have a VR headset to jump into VR chat or AltSpace or any of these things we've been talking about.
That's
true. You can download these clients and play them in 2D using just your keyboard and mouse. You can walk around the area.
Become part of the family.
Yeah, you can still come and communicate with us. So if you're waiting for your CV1, if you're waiting for your Vive, jump in, get in here, talk to us. We love being a part of the community. We want you to tell us what's going on and how you're feeling about this stuff. So, and of course, if you think that VRSpies needs to know about something, please let us know. We do all have email addresses at our corresponding names. So if it's Immersive Gamer 83, you can put an at VRSpies and you'll get a hold of him. Right? If you want to get a hold of all of us at one time, go ahead and send a message to team@vrspies.com, and we will all receive the message. So you can't hide those messages. So that's one way to get a hold of us. Also, obviously, we do have the vrspies.com website where we're going to try to put up articles, and you can also communicate with us on there.
Check that shit.
Yeah, check that stuff.
Check.
You guys all an email, so you guys can check that.
Cool. Thanks, Gunter. I do appreciate Gunter being on here. I'm super excited. Gunter, I think you're one of the best guys to have on this virtual space right now. One of the biggest VR personalities in the field, Gunter S. Thompson.
Boom.
Yep. Fantastic having you on here tonight. I really appreciate it,
man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
All right, then I guess we'll close it there. That seems like a really nice place to close it. So thank you so much for watching, and please do subscribe to our channels and check out Gunter's Universe.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Sing it,